Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Mm-hmm. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. And Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there. Sure. Yeah. Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information.
Thumbtack presents the ins and outs of caring for your home. Out, procrastination, putting it off, kicking the can down the road. In, plans and guides that make it easy to get home projects done. Out, carpet in the bathroom. Like, why? In, knowing what to do, when to do it, and who to hire. Start caring for your home with confidence. Download Thumbtack today.
This week, in Gunnison, Colorado, a young man disappears off the face of the earth, and friends wonder if he just ran away to lead a better life, or if maybe his family may just have had something to do with it. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you for joining myself and Peter Brady with his voice-breaking yay. Very nicely done there. Yeah. Jimmy is, it's got a late puberty going on, and that's all right. We're going to let him go with that.
Pork chops and applesauce,
That's
James.
right. Thank you guys for joining us this week. Hope you enjoyed last week. We were in Maryland.
That was fun.
That was crazy. That guy was nuts. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you didn't hear it last week, go back and listen and just hear what this guy had to say in court. I don't even, it was a spectacle.
The childhood he had to endure.
It's wild, man.
It really created a madman.
We have one of the, this is insane this week we have coming up. We're in Colorado, totally different setting and all that. Before we get to the show, very quickly, just want to thank you guys for your reviews this week. Apple Podcast, that purple icon. If you haven't done it yet, please get on there. Give us 5 stars. We have no idea why, but it helps drive you up the charts. So let's get on that and help us out with that. It really helps out the show. Head over to and givememurder.com for everything crime and sports and small-town murder related.
Right.
What's crime and sports, you say? No, don't even go there. You listen to crime and sports. I want to say, by the way, we've noticed lately so many small-town murder listeners in the last month have started listening to crime and sports.
Thank you.
Shockingly, they're all like, I don't know what I waited years for. This is great. Yeah, we only told you every week for years. But no, thank you for trying it now. And if you haven't yet, you're missing out. So get over there, try that out. Also, listen to P.S. I Hate This Movie on Fridays, where me and my wife, Sarah Hunt, talk about bad romantic comedies. And I lose my mind quite a bit. So you can check all that out, do everything like that. Get your tickets to live shows for whenever the shit they happen.
Listen, every week we have a conversation with people.
Yeah, we're
trying to fix it too.
We're frustrated, believe me. I know you guys are frustrated if you've bought tickets, and we are really frustrated.
You want to go to a show? We want to make one.
We're dying to make a show for you guys. So, but whenever they're rescheduled if you have tickets for these shows, they all carry over. So when there is a show, it will be there. And you can even check some of those sold out shows, because I know a couple of tickets got returned. Not too many, but you might be able to get lucky on those shows that were sold out.
Also, we're trying to add one somewhere.
Yes, we're trying to add a couple here and there. Well, we're trying to work this out. So get on there, do that. If you want to be a hero to the show and be a producer, have your name spoken by Jimmie very badly at the end of the show, just mispronounced brutally, you can do that. And as well, you'll get access to all of the wonderful bonus material that we provide on Patreon. And this week, guys, it's another one. Great. We try to do 3 a year of these. This is kind of the plan on these bonuses, because they're so beautiful. I'd love to do them every week, and a lot of people want them every week, but we're going to spread them out. It is the Prisoner Dating Game All Violent Felon Edition this week.
It's only been one of them, but I am undefeated in picking the least of the...
Well, yeah.
Picking the poison, I picked the least one.
So we'll see who Jimmie ends up with this week.
See if I go undefeated.
4 bachelors, 4 lucky bachelorettes line up. We see who Jimmie picks, one of each.
See if I don't get a pedophile.
Let's do it. That's it. You never know. So check that out. It's going to be a lot of fun. That's patreon.com/crime and sports. Anybody over the $5 level gets access to that and all of the bonus material for both shows, as a matter of fact. So do that. And if you just want good karma, you want to be a good person, you can do that very easily over at PayPal. Use our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com, and you're a wonderful person. And we will say thank you, and you'll get a shout out still.
Terrific.
Jimmie will butcher your name. Absolutely destroy it. So
figure out how to not do it right.
Quick disclaimer: this is a comedy show. Okay, all the facts are real, murders are all real. Nothing's made up for comic effect or anything like that. But people are going to die. Yes. It's a murder show, for Christ's sake. So they're going to die, and there's going to be plenty of jokes. Not about the murder. That's the thing, because there's so much stuff around a murder that can tend to be hilarious of why people make that decision to do that. So what we're going to go out of our way not to do is we try not to make fun of the victims or the victims' families, because we're assholes, but we're not scumbags. Yes. That's how that works. So if that sounds good to you, we're going to have such a wild time this week. It's a crazy story. If you don't think true crime and comedy should ever go together, you should probably turn it off or just give it a shot, because it's probably not exactly what you think it is. And then if you don't like it, though, don't complain later, because we warned you now. So with that said, everybody else who's sitting around, damn it, it's time to shout from the bottom of your lungs. Shut up and give me murder. Let's do this, Jimmie.
All right.
Let's go on a trip.
I'd love to.
Shall we? Let's do it. We're going all the way from Maryland all the way out to your home state, as a matter of fact, Colorado this week.
It's beautiful.
It is. This is not the place you're from, though. No. This is the western part of the Rockies, on the other side of the mountains. So it's a little bit different.
It's rocky as shit over there still. The west side of the state is it's rough. It's mountainous as fuck.
And it's rough too. This is some rugged terrain. Really? It's 8,000 feet elevation here in this town. It's Gunnison, Colorado.
All right.
It's west.
It's a nice town.
It's an interesting town. It's an old westy kind of town. Western central Colorado. It's just over there, like I said, west side of the Rockies on there. It's about 3 hours and 40 minutes to Denver. So nowhere near there. Nope. About 2 hours and 20 minutes to Grand Junction, if you want to go to the west. And it's about 4 hours and 15 minutes to Byers, Colorado, which is our last episode. Episode 134, which was August of 2019. Last time we were in the beautiful state of Colorado. As a matter of, we were just there in January.
We were.
And it was awesome.
It was cold as balls.
Oh, it was great. It snowed. It snowed the whole day. It was so awesome, man. I loved it so much. We were standing outside the show, talking to people with snow all over us. Oh, it was the greatest.
The freeway alleyways were gross.
Oh, it was gross. I loved it.
It was awesome.
Legal weed flowing everywhere. It was just a beautiful time in my life. It seems like 10 years ago, honestly. It was 5 months ago. It seems like that was when I was a boy. When I was a boy, it was 6 months ago.
Right?
It was early.
Holy shit!
Yeah, almost 6 months ago, man. It's nuts.
My God.
Yeah, it's
we
wild.
Really got to get out of this state.
That's what I'm saying. No one will let us in because our state is on fire. Basically, if virus were flames, our state's on fire. So not great. So this is in Gunnison County, area code 970. It's 4 square miles. It's kind of a small town, and then there's all big ranches outside of it. Right. There's a lot of like large acreage
real
properties.
Cowboys.
This is real cowboys, and it's a little bit of that kind of Aspen, Colorado thing too, of the
rich, the upper crust,
rich, like one of the Koch brothers. One of them owns a big giant ranch here where he built like his own little replica Old West town and all that shit. So there's rich people coming in
for the novelty.
Yeah, if anybody's ever read Hunter Thompson at all, like he talks incessantly because he lived in Aspen, outside of Aspen and Woody Creek, and he lived there in the 60s when it was turning into Aspen and it was becoming like all real estate and
it was affordable at one point.
Oh, that's why he moved there, because it was a quiet, affordable place you could go and have some room to yourself and quiet. And then it was right when he moved there, it was turning into this, real estate thing, and he was just so complaining about all the real estate hustlers and all these people moving in that just want to make a buck, and what about the people who just want to live out here and all this shit. So that's like a lot of his writing ends up there. So
that is fascinating that they did that to Colorado, because that's Colorado. Anywhere that you want to live there, that's what it is now.
Yeah,
it's rich people in the nice areas, and then they squeeze everybody out to the pieces of garbage.
That's it.
Wow.
He was in this nice area, but he moved like right before it blew up.
Yeah.
He had a good sense of that. He was in San Francisco. He lived on Haight Street right before, like in 1965,
really,
and 66. Like, so right as it was all happening, he was there. Watched it all transform.
Wow.
Interesting. But anyway, motto of this town here is Base Camp of the Rocky Mountains.
Okay.
Which, that's fine. That's what they want to call it.
It's not where you want to be, though.
No. But there's also another one that this is what the locals throw around, and this is how they feel about it. Just, quote, a rootin', tootin', shootin' good time. Right. So there's that, too.
I believe that.
Yeah, that sounds more likely. So the history of this town a little bit. It's these old West towns have fun histories.
Yeah.
There's always violence and,
Was there a gold rush here?
Well, there was gold here. There was, everything going on here. So it got its name, Gunnison, from a guy named John W. Gunnison, who was an explorer here. He was looking for a route for the Transcontinental Railroad and stayed for 3 days before traveling west to Utah.
Yeah, because that doesn't seem like the place to do it.
So they named the town after him. Who's that one feller stopped by for a weekend? What the fuck? What? His name might not have even been Gunnison. That's just what they remembered. Gunnison? Right? His name is Perkins.
His last name's Samsonite.
No idea. Yeah. It's fucking crazy. So in the 1870s, people started coming here. Population started happening because of the mining surge throughout the state. They were looking for anywhere they could mine and popping things in there. And then the railroad came a little bit after 1880, and that blew it up. And there was ranchers and farmers and miners. And, once the railroad's in town, you can make commerce.
Yeah.
So in the early 1800s, the people that were moving there were just fur trappers and mountain men. Before that, it's all that used to come out west.
Wow.
There's no other reason to do it except to get exotic furs that you could sell to rich fucks back east. You could sell to one of the Koch brothers back east.
Right.
So they did that. People, that's a crazy way to make a living.
Selling like pelts and shit.
Hope I get a bunch of beavers today,
or whatever
or
the fuck eats beavers.
Something I don't know. Yeah, mountain lions or some shit. I don't know.
Something bigger.
Apparently, in the 1840s, the fur prices dropped for some reason. I don't know if they figured out how to make fake fur.
When did PETA start?
Not the 1840s, or if this was like one of those there was more people exploring, so there was like a glut of fur.
Yeah.
I don't know if that happened.
Flooded the market.
Yeah, so a lot of people kind of stopped being mountain men in this area. And then in the 1850s, those people who were like trapping and doing all that shit decided to hunt for gold in this area when gold was a thing. They were in search of placer gold at first. I don't know what that is.
No.
But this apparently when all these people came to get gold, the tribes in the area, the Ute tribes,
sure they were thrilled.
They weren't okay with this, as you can imagine. Oh, you're just going to come in mass numbers.
Welcome.
Bunch of dirtbags too. The fringes of your society is going to come out here and just bore into the ground and take our shit. I don't think so. We're going to say no to that, as a matter of fact. So several miners were killed by the tribes, and this caused a lot of miners to flee the area. And, because it doesn't matter how much gold's there if you're going to be murdered.
Right.
It's one of those deals. So, and that was like Deadwood was the same way. Like, the town was safe, but if people went outside of town, there'd be groups of natives wanting to kill them for being there.
And you're vulnerable.
Understandably. Mm-hmm. So the mining boom here, that's where people really came in. Like we said, there's miners and all sorts of people here. The camps of Gunnison reportedly produced about 130 ounces of gold from the beginning of the gold rush through 1959, which doesn't sound like a lot.
What?
It doesn't sound like a lot at all.
Like how much money is that?
I don't know. Not 130,000 is a lot if you dug it out of one place, but not over the course of
like $1 million.
It's not over the course of 80 years. That doesn't seem like it's worth it there. So also there ended up being silver lead ore around here, and
silver was big too.
That ended up being a big deal around this area. And before the railroad there, though, there was a lot of fighting over fucking which railroad was coming through town. Basically the town split in half fighting over which railroad they wanted to come in, which is hilarious.
Yeah. So
cattle industry became big here in around the 1880 area also, and I think it's still relatively big here. So the problem is that farming, it's not a good place to farm.
No.
There's not a lot of rainfall. I think it's 11 inches of rainfall annually in this area, so it's
can't imagine there's a lot of dirt either.
And high elevation mixed with it just doesn't really work very well.
Don't go too deep.
No, they really don't. So they would just they dug irrigation ditches. You had to hustle to make something go of this area. This is not inviting land.
No.
It looks pretty.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
But it doesn't want you on it. And it's clear from what you have to do to be on it. It does not want you there.
And the wildlife that will murder you.
Yeah. That's how I look at Arizona. We're like sitting in the middle of this desert, and it's obviously like today, it's 110 degrees outside. If you go into the desert, everything there is poisonous and made of rock.
Right.
It's all like these spiky, hard things that you've never seen before that will poison you.
Right.
So if there's no reason for humans to be here.
No.
If there was no electricity for 3 days, this place would be empty.
Over.
Empty.
Yeah.
The whole city would fucking empty. It would be over. Seriously.
If the dam broke and there's no water, what are we going to do then?
That's what I mean. This is untenable at best. I feel like I don't know how we're pulling this off. I don't feel like it's going to last forever.
Sustainable is not a good word for this community.
It's just spitting in God's face, I would call it. That's what Phoenix means in Latin, spitting in God's face. Did you know that?
It's a real fuck you. Phoenix is a bird.
Tucson
means
definitely
a bird.
Yeah, that's what I did. Tucson means putting a finger in the ass of God. That's what a Tucson is. It's a
These are
digital deity penetration.
The two worst places to live in Arizona are Tucson and Phoenix.
Oh yeah,
everything
they're awful.
Everything north of here is fine.
Yuma is the worst place in America, I think, maybe to live. It could be
south of Phoenix.
Kingman,
it's over.
It's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad stuff. Jesus Christ.
It's terrible.
It's really fucking bad. So another guy here, John Outcalt, he was one of the most famous men in the town. Didn't name it after him or anything, but a guy stopped by for 3 days, so I'm going to name it after him.
This guy's famous, though?
He helped build the Paragon School, which is still there today, apparently, and the Gunnison Pioneer Museum also. He used to be a shipbuilder in New Jersey, and he decided to go out west and build a school instead. And so he did that. The natives liked him even there, which was crazy. He was known as the most trusted white man in the area.
He's giving away a lot of shit.
He was. I don't know if he was just a nice guy or what.
That's how you make friends with people, man.
Apparently it worked.
Beneficial to them.
Yes. And in his writings, he said that this saved his life many, many times when he was out there. And they're like, oh, no, it's John. John's cool.
Great.
John's cool, dude. Let him go. You let him pass, bro. He's going to be
things.
He's cool as fuck, man. You don't know this guy.
He gave me a contraption, makes fire in your hand.
It's fucking
rubbing
awesome.
sticks. Find John.
Dude, John's a good dude. I'm telling you guys.
Cuts the cooking work in half.
Fucking great. So in 1918, this is perfect. I didn't even realize. In 1918, toward the Spanish influenza epidemic is going on, the Gunnison residents isolated themselves as a town from the surrounding areas.
Everybody else can fuck off.
Nobody allowed in.
Yeah.
Everybody staying put. Shut the fuck up. Yeah. No fucking anything. No bullshit. Yeah. It wasn't any like, oh, well, I want to leave and I'm going to throw a fit and I'm going to throw myself on the floor of a Costco. They said, stay put or we'll shoot you.
Oh.
Period. You're not coming in, motherfucker. And then guess what happened? Not one fucking person in this entire town died from the Spanish influenza.
That isn't
one.
A novel idea.
Not one, Jimmy.
That epidemic decimated people.
Oh, millions. Yeah. Not one single person here out of thousands. There was like 5,000 people. Not one of them killed by the Spanish influenza.
And all it took was leave us alone for a while?
Well, they barricaded the highways near the county lines coming in, and train conductors warned all passengers that were going through on train that if they stepped off the train in Gunnison, they would be arrested and quarantined for 5 days before they'd be let out. So,
and it worked.
And guess not one fucking person died of it.
Unbelievable.
So, apparently there was a novel called The Last Town on Earth by Thomas Mullen in 2006 that is kind of that story. It's based on their quarantine and all that shit. So I have some reviews of this town, which are always fun. People seem to like it here.
Yeah.
Not a lot of bad reviews, but even the good reviews have a little stank on them.
Yeah.
Like they mean it good, but it's not good. Put it that way. So it's weird.
It's a place I could be quarantined.
Yeah, it's a real good place to stay put. So 2 stars here. Great place to visit with a lot of outdoor activities, but very boring small town. Well, yeah, nightlife here is next to nothing.
It's Gunnison.
It's a goddamn small town in the mountains. What do you expect? The Spanish part of town with their booming nightclubs and large, huge-assed Brazilian women in the windows are just amazing. Other than that, the town's boring.
I don't imagine any world-renowned DJs are going through Pace in Arizona.
Probably
you know what
not.
I mean?
Or Gunnison.
It's not
going to
be popping. No. It's a shithole.
It's a shithole.
It sucks.
Job opportunities are very low and also very isolated. The housing is affordable, but most people in this town are lower class, making it hard to buy.
Well, that seems mean.
Oh my. That's what I mean. It's the people in town are nice, but at Western Colorado University, which is here also, most students I encountered were not very friendly. Lots of high school type drama. This place is beautiful, but not for everyone.
Well, they're probably not from around there.
That's exactly what
college,
it is.
You dickhead.
Yeah, probably from other parts of the state.
They tried their best to get into a nice school.
It's like a ranching college, probably.
Tells you how to grow the best beef.
There's no buildings. It's just pens and rodeo fucking places and shit.
You gotta roll out when you show up.
Sure.
Make your fucking bed under the wagon.
You can do it.
Yeah.
That's what we're saying. Here's a 3-star review. If you're willing, not the correct by the way. If you're willing to work hard, you'll be able to get a job. There are lots of restaurants. Oh my, can I have 3 jobs at restaurants? Because that's what I'll need to get by, probably, when I tell you the housing prices. Seasonal jobs, and many people have more than 1 job, depending on what you want. Yeah, so if you have 3 fucking jobs, you can survive here. That's terrific. That goes for anywhere, and that sucks. Shit. So 3 stars. There is some big companies like City Market, Safeway, Ace, and the Tractor Store, and a small warm Walmart with no grocery section. Lots of small businesses and variety of restaurants.
Okay.
Sure.
So a few corporate places weaseled their way in.
Yeah, and here's a 3-star. Being someone of the age, I guess that's an old person.
Elderly.
The age.
Yeah.
I have the age. That's like an old man in the 80s going, he's got the HIV, that one. I've got the age.
A person of the age.
The age. Not a certain age, just the age. Right. It's going to get me any day now. He's waiting to die.
Affairs in order.
What are you sick of? I'll be gone by then. Well, what's wrong? The age. Oh, my. I would like to see more establishments where one can go out and have a nice beverage. She means like an iced tea, I feel like, not a...
Well, you think that's what it is? I see more Mad Men where they're like, nobody in town can make a good fucking old-fashioned.
Maybe that's what it is, a nice beverage. Right. All the college kids out there.
Say cocktail, bitch.
Yeah, there's not a very large variety, and I need a place to go for my martini hour.
Right.
It's 1958. There's not a very large variety in Gunnison. And then here's a 3-star, very short. People tend to live here for a while. Okay. Pet and family friendly. Oh, good. They don't shoo kids out at the fucking at the Gunnison sign.
What, you got a dog?
They don't stop. We don't take kindly to dogs around these parts. And what's that little person you got there? That little miniature a child? They're bringing children in here.
We're allergic to cats.
Get them off the train at gunpoint and quarantine them. Make sure that other people don't catch. We don't know if that's a child. It could be just a person with a disease making them tiny.
What's they got, polio?
And they can give it to others. Right. So we're going to quarantine and test them and probe them like an alien, and then we'll figure out from there. The dogs we're going to shoot that out.
That's dead.
That's
forget
dead
that.
We're going to use that for manure or some feed or something.
I'm going to wear that.
I'm going to wear it around my neck like a trophy. So people in this town here, population 6,250. So 6,000 is
a good town.
Yeah, it's got Western Colorado University in it, which I think is probably
it's probably 3,000 people.
A bulk of it, yeah. Considering the median age here is 25.8.
Really?
Yeah.
It's all college.
And there's a lot of old people like residents, so it's a lot of college kids. The married population, it's usually 50-50. Here it's 25%.
Okay.
So it's
college as fuck.
It's college kids. 57% never married. That's usually a third. I mean, all of this shit. Low divorce. Actually, no, the divorce rate is actually higher. Really? No one's married, but they have a higher divorce rate than normal. Huh. Okay. And also, single with children is way higher than normal as well. So I don't know.
College kids.
They're getting knocked up. Yeah. They're a little drunk and irresponsible. So, you know how that goes.
Those days.
Oh, those days. So, not that we went to college, either of us, but we were that age of people in college. I was
drunk and irresponsible.
Yeah, I was an irresponsible 19-year-old once. That I have experience in. I just too irresponsible for college.
I was drunk and irresponsible and the age of somebody at the end of med school.
There you go. Perfect. Someone about to get their license.
Right. With zero education.
It's perfect. Race of this town, it's about a little over 80% white. So pretty white. 0.3% black. So not a lot of black people here. 0.0% Asian.
This school's really got to loosen it up.
Wow, that is weird as shit. And it's got to be like a rodeo college. It has to be.
I don't know.
It has to be.
It's got to be something, right?
I would imagine
something specific.
It's all I can imagine. 17.9% Hispanic, which that makes sense. It's Colorado. Yeah. A lot of Hispanic people in Colorado, and that's about the national average anyway. 40% of the people here are religious, and there's a pretty good spread, except for the most is Catholic, actually. Because
I could see that.
Yeah, 27% Catholic, only 2% Mormon.
Really?
They must set the barricades up at the county line, just like two things we're guarding against: Spanish flu and them fucking Mormons. Neither of them are coming in here. They just spread everywhere, each and everywhere. 0.0% Jewish. Not a lot of Jewish rodeo enthusiasts.
Very few.
And 0.0% Muslim, which there's even fewer. I feel like
Matter
Muslim.
Of fact, they hate it.
They probably are
Straight
a big
up
fan
and down,
of rodeo.
Fuck it.
Maybe not. So this town actually politically is pretty liberal. Actually, 55% Democrat in the last election, 35% Republican, and 10.5% Independent. Okay. College kids, they'll go wherever. So they'll go independent.
And it's Colorado.
Yeah,
that state keeps you fucking guessing.
You never know what they're going to do. Who knows?
They're a wild card if there ever was one.
One thing they do in this town is work, because the unemployment rate here, as of a couple months ago, before everything, is 1.7%, which is literally the lowest I've ever seen anywhere on the planet. That's and of the 178 towns we've covered, it's the lowest.
It could be working college kids too. You know what I mean? It sounds
college
like a college
counts as that.
Right.
Yeah,
it sounds like a college that is not. I don't know.
We've done college towns
super popular to go for. You know what I mean?
1.7%
seems like working class kids.
Maybe, and also probably people out on a ranch. If that's, I don't know if that counts as what that counts as. So household income here though is a little bit low. Normally it's about $57,500. Here it is $41,500. So that's a little bit low, which you're going to get with college kids. Obviously, not a lot of people making over $150,000 in this area at all. Cost of living though is a little high. Well, overall, 100 is regular average. Here it is 101, but the housing is 119.
Oh,
yeah, housing is expensive here. Property's expensive. Apartments are cheap. Okay. It's like you were saying, rich people, and then they shove everybody else out into the cheap shit.
That seems like Colorado.
Yep. Median home costs $274,700 here. Yeah. And if we've convinced you, damn it, you need to have a rootin' tootin' shootin' good time, we have for you the Gunnison, Colorado Real Estate Report. 2-bedroom rental here goes for about $913 a month, which is lower than the national average, and the real estate prices are higher. So that's the way to go.
Man, kind of thing.
Because everything's expensive.
Yeah.
I found a 1-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,121 square foot house. It's a stone house, so it's like a nice old house. It's on an acre, and it's got like a big greenhouse next to it that comes with it as well.
Colorado.
There you go. $389,000 for this, though.
Holy
1,100
shit.
square feet of living space.
They're trying to tell you you're going to turn a profit in that greenhouse.
Fucking better, because that's just for your worker quarters or something. Your trimmers will stay there. I have a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,683 square foot house.
Oh, boy.
This is a nice house, really 2.5 acres. Beautiful. This is like a house you'd want. Sure.
Is it 600 something?
$789,000 for
Jesus
that house.
Christ.
Yeah, it's expensive, man. It's pretty.
Oh my.
Then I found this. You need to stretch out.
There you go.
6-bedroom, 5-bath, almost a T-bowl for every beehole.
Yeah.
6,468 square foot.
Oh, Jesus.
Beautiful, big, giant ranch on 4,900 acres of beautiful, like mountainside real estate. It's gorgeous.
5,000 acres.
Yeah.
You're talking about $5 million?
$3,495,000 for that. Yeah. That's, if you wanted to spread out.
That's pretty decent, though.
It's not a bad price.
Acreage.
Yeah. Some of these places are really expensive depending on where you are. If it's like right by a river or water, holy shit, is it expensive.
4,900 acres, though. You could turn a portion of that into some fucking some crop growing.
I guess so.
Ship that shit out of the state.
Why not? Things to do here. They have Cattleman's Day. Oh boy. Cattleman's Day. It's
a whole day.
Rodeo shit, obviously. It's a rodeo in Colorado that takes place over a 10-day period in July.
Holy shit.
Man, celebrating its 112th year of rich Western heritage in a first class and nationally recognized rodeo. That's wonderful here. Holy shit. In 2011, this rodeo was nominated as one of the 5 finalists for Mid-Size Rodeo of the Year, which is a very, we
got 5 of those?
It's a prestigious award right there. I'll tell you what here. Oh, Jesus Christ. Cattleman Days also offers scholarships to support and further the education of 4-H exhibitors. Oh boy. That sounds...
I mean, I get what you're doing, but...
That's great, but that place smells like shit. I'm not going anywhere near that event. There's shit everywhere.
If you move out of there, then what are you using all that information that you just stored in your brain?
Not at all. You have to stay there. And that's the thing. People stay here forever in this place that live here.
Your 4-H knowledge.
Oh, I got it all. Here is also the Gunnison River Festival. Oh, boy. It says, due to our amazing snowpack, the 16th annual Gunnison River Festival will take place over 2 weekends. Holy shit. All Whitewater Park events have been rescheduled for August 24th. Bar Pearl Jam concert. I don't know what the fuck that is. Cover band for Pearl Jam. I guess. Downriver Races. That sounds safe. And I-Bar/World Tour Paddling Film Fest. What the fuck is that? I don't know what's happening.
Paddling? Is there like a festival?
A festival based that they call it the World Tour Paddling? I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Is it all like river rafting
It's either that or like...
a Kevin Bacon movie?
Yeah. Light bondage, maybe. I don't know what's going on. It's Whitewater Summer. That's all it is. They just show Whitewater Summer over and over again. Is that Sean Astin? I think it is. Okay.
That Kevin Bacon's a real dick.
He's been in everything.
He broke his leg. Good. Fuck him. Leave him. They're going to carry him out.
For Christ's sake. He doesn't deserve it. Let him get eaten by bears. I remember thinking that as a kid.
I would have done it.
Fuck him.
Fuck that guy.
So,
you got a rock trapped on you cocksucker. Here's a pocket
knife. And he deserved it.
Yeah, best of luck.
Yeah, carve it off.
He'll make another movie.
He will, with one leg. So, crime rate in this town, what we're interested in here. Property crime, just above average, nothing crazy, just kind of above the average rate. And then violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and of course assault. The Mount Rushmore of crime is just below average.
Oh.
So it's usually college towns are like that. Higher property, lower violent.
Yeah.
They'll steal your shit and stuff like that, but
they won't murder you, but
they're not murdering
sure
as
will
much.
Rape you.
Oh, yeah,
College
that counts as violent.
You better calm down.
That counts as violent. So let's talk about a murder, Jimmie, shall we?
Yeah.
Let's do this, because this is Wow, this is twisted, man. This is some weird stuff. Now, this is just outside Gunnison. There's a town called Parlin. It's barely a town. It's not a town. It's a sign, really. There's nothing there. If you look it up, there's no, like...
Parlin?
Parlin, like Carlin with a P.
Got it.
But it's just, it's a nothing thing. And this is just outside of, this ranch is just outside of Parlin, between Parlin and Gunnison.
Got it.
But Gunnison's the nearest town.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely, these people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. But why don't you focus also, you look at like green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well. Right. And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Down here. So that's where this ranch is that we're going to be talking about. The 7-Eleven ranch.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
You can't do that.
Well, they did it.
Yeah. What are you doing?
It's been called that for like 100 years, though.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I think they had it before 7-Eleven.
Figure it out.
I think
they
so.
They used to be 7 to 11 because that was their hours. And then now they're 24 hours, so they just call it 7-Eleven.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that, by the way. It's a really weird... I guess the hours would be fine, but now call it 24/7. Hey, look at you.
Not bad.
That's pretty good.
Keep the same colors.
Tells you exactly what's going on. Yeah, I think it's the same thing.
We're still going there.
Slurpee still.
It's the same shit in there.
That's fine. Yeah.
I don't understand that.
Damn gas station either way.
7-Eleven.
Well, what are you going to do?
Okay.
So let's go all the way back in time now, all the way tumbling through the clocks and the lightning and everything back to 2015.
Okay.
I'm not going back too far. It's a short trip here.
It sure is.
This is a modern one we're going to do here. A modern old westy ranchy thing. This is good stuff.
It's going to be confusing.
Oh, no. This is great, man. First of all, I have to give credit to an article in The Atlantic by Rachel Monroe is the name. The person who wrote it. Really good detail that a lot of anything else didn't have. And this person actually went to this town and talked to people involved. And this wasn't just like an AP pick up on a news story. This person really did some investigation on her own. So I want to make sure to give her credit for this because definitely that's not easy to do.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about a guy. First off, let's talk about a guy named Jake Millison.
Oh.
Okay, Jacob is his full name.
Millison and Gunnison.
Millison and Gunnison. Everybody calls him Jake.
Okay.
Jake he grew up on this ranch, and you would love Jake.
Sounds like a cowboy already.
He's going to be your kind of guy. Yeah. Not really a cowboy so much.
Ranch hand.
He likes to smoke his weed.
Hell yeah.
Lives on the ranch, likes to smoke his weed and hang out, easygoing kind of some people say he's an easygoing kind of laid back guy, and some people say he's not. So it's He's got a couple of different things about him.
He doesn't like you either.
Let's talk about him. He's 29 years old in 2015. Okay. All right. He still lives with his mother at this point.
Come on, Jake.
But it's on this ranch.
Oh.
Yeah. He's waiting her. He's waiting her out, too, is the other thing. This is what people do when they have large amounts of property. This, me and you don't know this because no one in our family's ever owned anything. But people with like property, like they'll stay there and wait out their parents so then they inherit the property. That's how it works. So it's in a different world than we're living in.
Or
Jimmy.
they go live their own life and then find out their parents are sick, and then they go back home for a while. Till they die, and they're like, "This is my
all right.
place.
Now I can take all this stuff." That's what people do. Yeah,
get rid of all this shit and bring my shit in.
All right, yeah, this place would be nice without all this old lady shit around. I'll tell you what,
and the old lady,
including her. That's whatever that smell is.
Don't worry, I'll bury you and all this shit in the same hole.
Don't worry, I'll send it. Nope, it'll go right in the dumpster. Don't you worry about it, Grandma. Sorry, Grandma, that's terrible. So, Jake in 2015 is 29 years old, lives with his mom, hangs out at a local dive bar called the Alamo.
Yeah,
that's his hangout spot with his friends, and there's not a lot to do in Gunnison. That's why I put the reviews in there so you'd know that not really too much going on.
It's boring.
It's boring. So if you're a local and you're a younger person and you want to socialize, you go to the same dive bar always.
And there's nothing wrong with that either.
No.
I don't. New York's nice. You can go to a different bar every goddamn night, but sometimes it's nice to just go to the same damn place.
Oh, I would hate to see the same
drink
people
your same
constantly.
beer on the same bar stool.
I want to be so anonymous when I'm in a place. I don't want anyone to know who I am. Like, I don't want people I know to be there. I don't want the fucking bartender to know who I am.
You can still be that guy too in the corner there. Everybody's like, "Who the fuck is that?"
Then they're all like,
"He's here every night."
And they make up stories. And next thing you know,
hell yeah.
Did you ever see? Did you ever watch
your lore?
Did you watch Cheers back in the day, Jimmy?
A little bit.
There's an episode where they put as an experiment. One of them, Diane, put this creepy looking guy in the bar and it just had him sit there and like take notes and stuff. And basically the whole bar devolved into chaos as they would like have meetings in the bathroom about who this guy is and
creating a backstory for him.
No, like getting paranoid of like, who is this guy? What did you do? Did you do something? Is this like the FBI? Like they started like freaking out and all this shit. And he was just a guy sitting there.
That would be great for you.
So I could do that. That'd be good. But I'd rather just have no attention at all and be completely anonymous and walk into a place and sit there and never have anyone, like if they went in on like in Law and Order with a picture and be like, this guy, was he here? They'd be like, I don't know. That's what I want. Not even a recognition by the bartender. Maybe. I don't know. Was he tall, I guess?
Looks like
a
lot of people.
I don't know. A hat on maybe?
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's his friends know him as a reliable kind of guy, but he's also a laid back, like we said. He loves his weed, likes his weed. He grows weed on the farm sometimes and shit like that. On the ranch, I mean, he's a good dude. Seems all right like that. Like his one friend was saying, like, if you have plans, he's going to like make sure to get a hold of you the day before to make sure the plans are still on. And he's very reliable with him. Right. Not just like, you still going to hang out with Bob? All right, just checking on you, pal.
That's what I thought you meant.
Making sure you're going to keep your plans with Susan tomorrow. That's all. He's just everybody's fucking receptionist. He's going around.
Heard you were going down to the river tomorrow. You're still going, right? No, I'm not. But
no. I have to work.
I have plenty of shit.
Other stuff to do.
Make sure
you're going. Sure, you know what you're up to.
Told me last week you're having chicken parm tonight. You're having that, right?
Having that, still? You changed your mind. For Christ's sake. Can you let me know ahead of time next time?
You're such a flake.
When did you know you were not doing that? Yesterday? You could have called me. You could have called. Well, I make notes. I don't know. It's a thing that I do.
Considerate fuck.
I'm not saying it's my business. I'm just saying I like to keep, it makes me feel better.
I'm not saying it's my business. I'm saying it's my thing.
Is it that big of a deal? Don't make me come and look in your windows while you eat dinner, please, because that's really... I have to break in and look through your fridge and
then we gotta have
figure
a
conversation. It out. I don't like this. So
he had plans with somebody.
He has plans. Yeah, he's going to do that. But he's a reliable guy. They said one time they took a motorcycle trip to California because he's got a bunch of motorcycles.
Hell yeah,
as you would like. And he's the one who brought he thought to bring first aid kits and shit like that along with him, whereas nobody else did.
I never would have thought.
That's what I mean. Yeah, he's the guy who was like, I got
so
that.
Prepared.
He brought a tarp in case there was rain and they had to cover
Boy
things.
Scout at one
That's
time?
what I mean. I guess if you're on a ranch, you have to kind of figure out it's all on you. No one's going to do anything.
There's a lot of Boy Scouts in Colorado.
That's the other thing. So, but he's lived on this ranch, the 7-Eleven ranch, most of his life. It's a 700-acre property. Some tells me it might be 711 acres.
Got it.
That's what maybe.
I'll bet you're right.
That's possible. But it's a 700-acre property that they talk about being worth, a couple $1 million, basically, where it is and everything. So he lives there. He does a lot of the work on the ranch, lives there with his mom, who at this point in time is in her late 60s. Of the age. Yeah. She's looking for a nice beverage. And also, his mom is very frail. His mom is 5 foot tall, about literally 85 pounds, maybe tops. Very, very tiny woman. And she just has, in this year, she had a surgery as well. It makes her weaker. So, but she's still known as a wiry, tough lady that'll go out and do ranch shit, even though she weighs 85 pounds. One of those. They're ranch people. They're a different kind of breed than me.
They don't look hardy, but boy, are they.
They're hardy people. So they said that most evenings that he would go, he'd leave, he'd leave the ranch. He'd go, there's a gym he worked out at, Jake, and then he'd stop by the Alamo, hang out. And they said creature of habit, always at the same table, always had the same drink. He'd order a Coke most of the time.
What?
That was it. His friends said once in a while he'd have a 7 and 7 as a drink, or possibly 2, but no one's really ever seen him have more than 2 drinks at a bar. They said he drinks 2 at the most because he's usually the designated driver.
Prepared.
By the way, that's a redneck thought.
Yeah.
He only had 2. That's the designated driver.
Have that guy
drive. He's the least drunk.
And it's not like he's drinking 2 beers. He's drinking 2 7 and 7s. And in Western Colorado, those are tall.
Yeah. It's just one of those things. Yeah. And normally, designated driver means you don't drink alcohol for the night. But this is he's not going to drink enough to get shit-faced. So he can still drive.
In Western Colorado, the bartender takes a couple pulls out of the bottle. And then fills the rest with 7.
There you go. Good.
That'll be enough.
That'll be enough for you. So, but I mean, he's just, that is I guess that's being responsible if everyone else is getting hammered though. And you're I'll stop at 2, wait a couple hours and drive everybody home.
Yeah.
He's a responsible guy. That's that sort of deal. He's got a close knit group of friends that he hangs out with, about 6 or 7 people that he hangs with, his friends that he's known for a long time. Yeah. Some of them, and these are all kind of blue collar guys, mechanics, lumberyard guys. People you tend to hang out with the same,
right?
Especially if you're growing up, together and you're a group hanging out. Usually one of you isn't headed to work at the lumberyard while another one's going off to Harvard this summer. Right. It's just not, you know what I mean? Yeah. All of my friends growing up had nothing going for them the same way I did. I had nobody that was a successful friend. Oh man, Pete's really doing it.
Right.
Nope. All fucking jackasses.
I remember I got
all
a job
morons.
And I was super happy about it because I was making decent money. And one of my friends goes, "You're never going to get rich doing that. You're still always going to be blue collar and broke." And I was like, "You have an oxy addiction. Why are you ripping on me? I'm the most successful guy here."
Yeah, I have
You're
a job.
Dick.
Yeah. I just have a job in a shitty 1-bedroom apartment, and I'm killing it. Jesus
we were
Christ.
all garbage is what I'm telling you.
That's it. Garbage people, all of us.
Top of the garbage heap.
Yeah. Right there with you. So, but all these guys would hang out and they'd shoot pool at the Alamo there and all that shit. And then Jake would go back to the ranch because he had to get up early and do a lot of ranch work, that sort of shit. One of his friends here, Antranik Ajarian is the person's name. Yeah. This person, he comes up several times over the course of this story.
Well, this is going to be
some quotes. I'll call him Ant.
Yeah.
Like Antony. Ant. That's not being disrespectful, but I don't want to mispronounce his name 45 times over the course of the story.
Right. And then we're going to get a tweet from the fucking guy.
Ajarian, and then it's Aharian. I don't want to do that. So Ant is the first 3 letters. We're going with Ant.
Got it.
You can call me Jim if you want. Enjoy.
Friend A.
I don't care. So about my name. So I hope you don't care about yours. So anyway, he said that, quote, everything was like clockwork with him about Jake. He's a kind of a dependable guy. And then we'll talk about a little bit where Jake came from, who he is here. His parents split up when he was 6. Yeah. He's got a sister named Stephanie, who's a year older than him. And she'll come into the story big time here. His father, his name was Ray, the Ant, friend A, look at that, first opportunity to use it. Ant described him in a, complimentary, fun way. He described his dad as a, quote, old crazy gun guy.
And that's a positive thing.
And he was one of those old crazy, picture the old Mountain Dew ad with a shoeless hillbilly shooting at someone outside of an outhouse. That's what I picture, like a fun, but in a fun way, which is weird.
Or he's a vet, you know what I mean? A war vet that just loves guns.
They might just and they're out on a ranch, so I mean, you
could be anything.
Yeah, who the hell knows here? But eventually, this guy, they get divorced, like we said, when Jake is 6 and his sister is 7, and his dad, Ray, moves to New Mexico, to a ranch out in New Mexico. So away from the kids. So he's kind of doesn't have a father right away. But Deb, his mother, who's the 5 foot tall, 85-pound little lady here, she ends up getting remarried pretty quickly, actually.
Really?
Finds somebody else, a guy named Rudy Rudabaugh.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Rudy.
Really?
Rudy Rudabaugh.
You can't do that to your kid.
No. Well, maybe his nickname was Rudy because his last name was Rudabaugh.
But it can't be Rudolph Rudabaugh.
No.
That's fucked up, too.
No. I mean, his name could have been fucking Frank, but they called him Rudy because his last name was Rudabaugh.
I'm on board.
That's possible.
Yeah, I can see that.
But when he put it together and it's Rudy Rudabaugh,
that's fucked up.
That's you sound like a bad cartoon character at that point. So
you sound like a punchline.
Yeah, exactly. Now, when they got married, Rudy was 20 years older than Deb. So he's an older guy. Yeah. He's a widow. His wife had died 10 years before that or something. And he's a rancher. So this all works out pretty well.
Right.
This is when the kids move into the ranch and they have this ranch life after that. He is a townsman is quoted as talking about Rudy that he is, quote, one tough little turd.
Oh. About Rudy?
Again, complimentary.
Yeah.
That's a compliment.
That's what we call Rudy.
One tough little turd, that Rudy.
It's an old man.
He's the one that just, you can flush that toilet 14, 15 times. He'll just keep floating back on up to the top. Tough little turd right there. He fights against the current. You know what I mean?
Who the hell said that about him?
A townsperson. That's like I assume that's like the general consensus because that's the quote they use to describe him. So that's the consensus.
Poor bastard.
Hi, I'm Rudy. One tough little turd. Vote Rudabaugh this fall. One tough little turd.
I am Theodore Rudy Rudabaugh, and I am a tough little turd.
Tough little turd. That's a great campaign sign. Vote your conscience. Vote the turd.
If Joe Arpaio ran with that, it would be hard not to. Yeah. It'd be hard not to vote for him.
Well, if he was running for little turd, if that was an office, he'd be a shoo-in.
I mean, he could exchange turd for piece of shit, and it'd be a little more on the nose.
Yeah, that's better.
I'm a tough piece of shit.
That's right. He is a piece of shit.
I believe it.
And like we said, that is not political.
No,
that's objective. That's like saying Ted Bundy's a piece of shit. Yeah, because he killed a bunch of people, and so did Arpaio in his fucking jail, so fuck him too. They're both pieces of shit with bodies on them, as far as I'm concerned. So, sorry about that. It's a local thing.
That's my fault.
So we've been trapped too long in the house. So Rudy, the tough little turd, he had served as a frogman in World War II, which is lurking in rice paddies beneath, breathing through a straw.
What?
That's crawling through rice paddies, submerged, breathing through a straw, looking to pop up and fucking kill people. He's one of these. They would send him out looking for, to attack people out of nowhere. A surprise
He's the front
attack.
Line.
Yeah, that's fucking. Those guys are nuts.
That's a terrible job.
Never mind the possibility of being shot and killed and the fact that you've got to kill a bunch of people just being underwater in a rice paddy with a fucking straw. I don't know what lives in there. Snakes and shit. I'm not going in there.
In an Asian country that I'm not familiar with?
I don't think this was happening in France.
Fucking wildlife is here.
Who knows? That's what I mean. The Philippines or something. That's
I'm
crazy.
from Colorado. I know how to live there. I can't do this shit.
So Rudy's a tough motherfucker.
Yeah.
That
they can skip turd.
He's just a tough son of a bitch.
Yeah.
So after the war, right after the war, Rudy bought the 7-Eleven ranch right after it. So that's shit. I mean, he's owned this thing for years, or 50 years. And basically, he had a hunting business out of here. They used the ranch as a hunting camp where he would take groups out.
Right.
And you charge money to take groups of city people out to fucking shoot
Dress
things.
some rich fuckers up.
That's it. Right there.
I'd just go up in the mountains and trap shit and let it loose on the property and be like, there's a wild thing
there
right
it is.
there. Right.
That's $50. Thank you.
Thank you. Go on.
Very much. So Rudy was known as his own kind of cat. He was a different kind of dude. He did whatever he fucking felt like. He's a goddamn, he goes through rice paddies with a straw. This guy is
a hero.
Yeah, that's not, okay. If you're thinking about how do we attack the enemy, all right. We could fly over and drop bombs on them, or here, I'll take the left flank and we can send the 2nd Cavalry around the thing. We can do all that. Or, here's an idea.
Let's ram them right up their asses.
Submerge people in the rice paddies. Right. They can breathe through a straw. It's going to be fine. We'll stick them right in there.
Stick them in the water. What about air? I've got it solved.
Straws.
Throw them a straw.
You pussy straws. What if it breaks? We'll give them an extra one. What the fuck? 2 straws? What's that going to cost us?
In your pocket.
It's fine. So we did, like, that's a crazy idea to even come up with. Is that as an idea for an attack?
Shit.
It's wild.
And then this guy's like, yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm in there. He dives in, straw in his mouth.
At some point, though, I get it. You took an oath for the country. Well, at some point, can't you at least be like, bad idea?
That's a
terrible plan, right?
We've never done that, right? I knew I'd be like lined up and sent places and have to shoot and be shot. No one said shit about submerging in rice paddies with unknown wildlife with a straw out of my mouth.
No, I'm totally willing to die for the country, but let's not do suicide for the country.
Totally, I'm fucking there. But I mean, yeah, I read a lot of stuff about like World War I and the Civil War. I don't remember straws ever being used. This is weird.
Feels like we have better technology than this.
Yeah, but he did it. Well, when he gets back, he's got some ingenuity here. He uses, this is obviously before cell phones back in the day and shit like that, between hunting camps, rather than, use telephones, he would send carrier pigeons to other hunting camps.
Wow.
He trained carrier pigeons we would send with messages back and forth. Jesus. So that's fucking that's crazy.
He's a patient man.
You want to hear something crazier? Mm-hmm. Well, when Jake and Steph were little kids, Rudy bought an African lion cub.
No.
They had a fucking lion. These people had a fucking lion, Jimmy.
He did well for himself.
A goddamn lion.
Afford a lion.
What the fuck? You can't just buy a lion.
Right.
She's 2 small children. I bought a lion. What are you, nuts? You ever try to bring a dog home without consulting anybody?
He just comes home with a lion.
You come home with a golden retriever, you're going to get yelled at. This guy comes home with a fucking lion. No, kids, pet it. It's what are you, nuts?
Is that a golden? No, my God, that's a fucking lion.
They kept it chained in the horse corral.
As if that's going to hold him.
That's if they did. There's horses, and then there's the lion. Watch out for that. I'm going to go check out the horses. Be careful of the lion. What? Where the fuck am I?
Hey, Jake, can you come over right now? I got to go feed the horses and the fucking
and the lion. Well, you know what they kept it? What they fed it? A diet of roadkill.
Oh my God!
They fed it fucking roadkill.
They're Joe Exotic.
Yeah, they lived like off a highway, so there was constant roadkill. It was like their address is on like Highway 75 or something. So they just go out to the highway, whatever roadkill, throw it to the fucking.
Wow.
There you go, lion.
That is horrifying.
Yeah, and neighbors eventually complained. Yeah. You know that you're doing crazy shit when you have 700 acres and your neighbors still complain about something. You are causing too much problem.
911. Yeah. My neighbor's rooster has a god-awful roar.
Yeah.
You're not going to believe this.
It's wild. I'm afraid of the damn thing. It's crazy. It eats roadkill. It's a big rooster.
This rooster really sounds like the king of the fucking jungle.
Apparently, the neighbors complained that the lion just being anywhere in the area was frightening all their livestock. They could sense it. They'd hear the roar. They knew it was something that shouldn't be around there and that they should be scared of. And I guess the livestock were constantly like paranoid. They were always like fucking looking over their shoulders. And
how about goats to trim the grass on my property? They won't do it. They're terrified.
The sheep go, bah. Can't get it out. You can't get a whole baa out. They're just very paranoid now.
Our cows have started saying no.
No. Baa. Shit. Fucking.
Can you imagine?
Is there a fucking lion around here? What's going on?
Somebody in the neighborhood was like, "That's not legal, right?"
Right? They can't have a lion. I know it's Colorado and everything, and we're a little loosey goosey with the laws, but we can't just have fucking lions running around, right? Right? There's got to be something. So yeah, they kept it chained. Neighbors complained. Eventually, somebody from the highway shot and killed the lion.
Really?
Yeah, I assume one of the neighbors had enough one night, and they fucking from the highway shot and killed the lion, and so the lion was no more. So they didn't get a new lion because it was going.
Rumor is it was a dentist from Missouri or something like that.
Definitely took him right out. That's beautiful. So Jack and Stephanie are homeschooled by Deb, I guess. So they said it was mainly so they could help work on the ranch. Like it was they needed to.
This is fucking hard work.
This is hard work. Yeah. So homeschooling consisted of branding calves and baling hay and repairing tractors and leading hunting trips for people and, doing shit with the horses. Right. And that's homeschool. I mean, I don't know if they did other stuff. I don't know Deb's lesson plan or anything, but either way, that's
change the oil and John Deere. I'm going to tell you all about Ben Franklin.
Maybe that's what it was too. I mean, maybe who knows? We don't know. So Rudy, though, as he gets older, he's he was in World War II for Christ's sake. So as the late 90s come around, he's pretty aging and not as physically able to do a lot of ranch shit. So from then on, Jake was expected to be the guy to do the hard lifting, basically the heavy lifting for his stepfather here. The family, they said in the area, was often the last to finish putting up their hay for the season.
Well,
it's tough.
Well, because they were behind?
Yeah, because Rudy and Jake did all the work by themselves, apparently. Okay. And then when Rudy couldn't do it anymore, then it was all Jake at that point. So finally, as a teenager, Jake started going to public school for the first time.
Really?
She must have been like, yes, there's girls that aren't my sister.
The asses around here.
Girls that aren't my sister or livestock. This is tremendous. Holy shit. Yeah. Like, that would feel great.
Right.
And Jake's, like I said, Jake's like a chill, cool guy. Like, he's a laid-back kind of guy. I bet girls would have probably liked him, He's
a fun country boy.
Yeah, he's a fun dude. People really like the guy. So early on, though, he got in trouble because he had a rifle in the back of his truck, and the school told him, because this is like, the fucking late 90s.
Right.
Like, you can't do that. Remember Columbine?
We're coming up on Columbine real soon.
Yeah, that's what I mean, which was not that far away.
3 hours east.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So he got in trouble, but he literally didn't realize you weren't allowed to bring guns to school. Because he just where he lives,
that's like a hammer.
Where he lives, everybody's got a gun in their truck. What if a lion comes out of here? You never know. God damn it, ranch is an unpredictable place. Fucking lions popping out everywhere. So he had no idea. They just thought that's what you did, and they're like, you can't do that. Like it was like having the fucking Nell in here or something. It's weird. So he had, like I said, he was. Never really got off the ranch much in his life.
Real fish out of water.
Yeah, but once he gets there, he immediately makes friends. He does well with people. Him and Ant become very close. They're both. Neither of them are real gregarious, outgoing guys. So if they find somebody who you can just chill and talk on a quiet or lower frequency level with, you kind of get along. And then they ended up picking up different guys from that into this group and ended up with about 6-7 guys in the end that all kind of similarly kind of chill, laid back people. No, there's not a lot of just, real boisterous guys that are running around acting crazy here. They do just outdoor shit. They camp and they fuck with their motorcycles and go off in the woods or not in the woods, in the mountains and tearing through trails on their bikes and shit like that. And, just things that guys that age around there do. Now, after high school, Jake stayed at the ranch because he was the one doing the work while everybody else kind of went to town. They went to Gunnison. People got apartments and, like I said, we're working mechanic jobs and doing all that sort of shit here. They said Jake, though, he's not real friendly with strangers. Not unfriendly, but just, I don't know if that comes from just being raised on a ranch and not encountering a lot of strangers except for people that are like customers or whatever. So I don't know if that's what it is. They said he's a little standoffish, but once you're his friend, big smile, great guy, right. Never leave your side type of guy. They said that he had a lot of appetite. He always wanted to hang out with people, always wanted to do stuff, and always wanted to be with his friends. He was, they said, the know-it-all of the group, kind of, though. Like, he was always telling his friends that they were doing shit wrong and stuff like that, and what you should do right, that sort of thing. I don't know where that comes from. But they said you knew he meant well, so you didn't get mad at it. His friend Ant there said, quote, "We used to say, yeah, he's an asshole, but he's our asshole, so he's fine." Okay. One of those things. A lot like you probably say to me about me, I would say.
Yes, but I love him.
Yeah, he's a fucking lunatic, but you know what? He puts together a hell of a story. So,
listen, some people have the talent that they're, that they need. You got to have that. You know what I mean? Yeah. You're gifted with the talent that brings people to you.
Fuck it, right? So, now in 2009, Jake's 23 and Rudy dies. As he was, like I said, he was a lot older. He was in his 80s at that point. Now, Stephanie receives an inheritance from him of $30,000. She received that before he died for a down payment on a house that she bought in Denver. And we'll talk about that.
So he put the 30 down and was like, there's your inheritance.
Gave her an inheritance ahead of time. That's it. Jake didn't get any money, but he just basically he figured the assumption was that he and his stepbrother, Rudy's son from his first marriage, would eventually inherit the ranch, and Jake would take care of it and do all that shit. So that's how he thought of it. That's why he's still on the ranch. So one of his friends said, quote, Gunnison ranchers don't move away. This is one of those things. They said Jake was tied to the land. He wasn't going anywhere. He liked that way of life. He liked having the ranch, and he was going to stay there. So Colorado, by the way, I don't know if you knew this, like through the 90s and 2000s especially, there's a real water issue in Colorado.
Is there?
Big time.
Like groundwater?
Water rights are a huge fucking thing. Okay. Big deal. Like, apparently, normally you buy land. Like here, if you buy land, if there's fucking water under it, it's yours. Whatever's under it is yours. Colorado, you can't just tap into a fucking water supply.
Really?
Because that could be somebody's irrigation line, and you'll get in trouble for that shit. So Colorado, water rights are a big deal. Just because water goes through your property doesn't mean it belongs to you.
Really?
Yes, it's a different fucking thing. I don't know how it is now, but Hunter Thompson complained endlessly about this because he wanted to buy this property, but it didn't come with water rights. So he's like, how the fuck am I going to get water? What the fuck is a property without water? This is ridiculous. Anyway, he's going...
Can you even drill a well on your property?
I don't think you're allowed to because it's somebody else's water. Because that water comes through to irrigate and shit through these ranches. It's all very complicated. So now a lot of the cities basically would now let their farmers let their land die off because they sell their water to the cities because they can literally make more money just selling their irrigated water than they can running their entire ranch.
That's fucked up.
Isn't that fucked up? It's so hard to make a living doing that with the large ranches and the large... What are you going to do? Sell cattle to who?
Right.
There's fucking huge corporate conglomerates you're competing with or farming or any of that shit. So you should sell water and that makes you more money. So that's what they started doing. So a lot of these ranches are just let to die. The farmers just make their money selling the water, and that's it. To Denver and Grand Junction and Colorado Springs and places like that.
That's nuts.
It's fucking crazy. And even down to New Mexico and even here, because we get Colorado River shit too, even. So,
and the water in like Manitou Springs, because they have natural springs there, and the water is... It's disgusting, James. It's like, I don't know how to... It tastes like it has baking soda. It has like a sting when you put it in your mouth.
The water's gross here, too.
Yeah.
The water's gross here.
That's just bleached.
Yeah.
It's super chlorinated.
Yeah, and the weird thing, it smells like sulfur here.
Yeah.
Like in New York, the strange thing is New York City has great water, which you would not expect. You'd expect it to be disgusting. Right. It's like actually better. When they do taste tests, it beats bottled water every time. It's the weirdest fucking thing in the world.
Phoenix, we can't figure it out.
Yeah, you'd never know. And then you look at a place that's beautiful, like Colorado, and you go, wow, this is the water's probably so clean and it smells like eggs.
I'll bet you
egg farts.
I'll bet you Corona or Coors probably had something to do with it because obviously
they need a shitload of water.
Fuckload of water.
I'm sure.
I'll bet they ruined it.
Well, that's by Denver there in Golden, so that's probably part of the part of the whole thing here. But a lot of these ranches were drying up, and then while Denver's getting huge. So 2015 comes around. Jake is, like I said, 29. May 20th, 2015. Nobody's seen Jake for a few days. He's been gone. About 4 or 5 days. Yeah. Nobody's seen him. His friends haven't seen him. Nobody's talked to him. A weird thing for Jake. Like, where the hell Jake go? What's going on here? So finally, a couple of his friends, Nate Lopez and Randy Martinez, drive out to the ranch to see where the fuck he is.
Right.
Where the fuck did he go? So how many places could he be, really? He's not at the Alamo.
Right.
And he says, must be at the ranch or at the gym.
His dirt bike's here.
That's it. So they turned into the driveway. They get in here, and this is, I'll show a picture I'll post of the front of this ranch, but it's a lot of like heads and antlers and all that sort of shit. Yeah, because it's a hunting lodge, a hunting camp.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, that's
gotta brag.
Gotta look what I shot.
Right.
So Jake's not around. They can't find Jake, but they do see his truck is there. He's got a bunch of motorcycles. They're all there. His dog is there. Okay. Elmo is hanging out. Cute. So now they look around the ranch. It's a big place, and they're Jake, because they see all the shit's there, so they think he might be home. Finally, they find Deb.
Mom.
Deb, frail and everything else, is out in the horse corral doing work.
Really?
That's what she does. Yeah, it was wild. Like, they were couldn't believe that she was doing shit. And Deb tells them that Jake went to Reno, which isn't, I don't know if you want to go to Reno.
It's a ways up, but...
It is. Apparently, there's a mixed martial arts gym there. He's been MMA fighting, training at a gym lately. And she says that there's a gym because it's around here, though, so I don't know what the level of training is. Yeah. So I guess in Reno there was a gym that's like a better gym that he wanted to go
drive through Utah for
train at. That sounds like a nightmare.
Jesus.
That sounds like a nightmare.
It's a long ride, man.
Yeah. And then they said, well, he hasn't been responding to texts for 5 days. And she said, a good reason for that is the goddamn irrigation ditch over there. Just imagine her saying it too in her little voice. Apparently, he dropped it in the irrigation ditch when he was doing something with the horses. And she said, it's in the kitchen in a bag of rice drying out right now. He said, hopefully it'll work when I get back so I don't have to buy another fucking phone for $1,000.
Right.
So literally, and they were like, oh shit, that sucks.
I have Apple Care. God damn it.
Well, yeah, that's what it was. So and we've all done that.
Oh, boy.
I jumped in a pool about 6 years ago with my phone in my pocket. Second, my feet hit the bottom of the pool. I said, fuck, god damn motherfucker.
My hip is so heavy. I know what that is.
I got out, put it in rice, and then you wait for like 2 days, and you're just, don't touch it. Don't open that fucking Tupperware. You're just
stand over it with your hands out going, come on, fucker, dry out.
I'm moving it around, making sure it's all covered in it and everything. Just like that'll make a difference. It never worked again, of course.
It's over.
It died.
It's done.
It's dead. So it was a saltwater pool. I don't think that helps. I don't think salt water is good for electronic components, probably.
I mean, if you pour coffee on something, sometimes you can dry it out and it'll work again. But if you put cream and sugar in there, it's fucked.
Yeah, it'll fuck it completely.
It melts. The sugar melts to the fucking circuitry and it's over.
Then it's over. Yeah, you don't want to have like a Starbucks and pour it in there. That wouldn't be the thing to do.
Pour your Frappuccino.
That's probably
black coffee. Sometimes it comes. I mean, not always, but sometimes it's fine.
Who knows?
I found that out from a computer guy because I poured it on a laptop on accident.
Oh man!
And when I called for help, he goes, "How do you have your coffee with cream and sugar?" And I was like, "Fucking yeah!" And he goes, "That's trash."
Yeah, you're in deep shit. That's going to be stuck and all fucked up.
That's never happening.
Yeah, I dropped a soda on my keyboard like 6 months ago. The editing keyboard.
Yeah.
I spilled it, just covered it, and I'm like, motherfucker, son of a bitch! No, I had to get a new keyboard. It was like sugar. In 10 minutes, like you'd press a button and it would just stay down completely. You could just press them all down.
That's a bunch of hours.
It was not good. Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you all sorts of good stuff about Chime. That's what I'm talking about. There's so many extra fees you have to pay in life. Everything. You go to the airline, there's an extra ticket on that. There's extra fee on every fees and fees, hotels, fees, all this type of stuff. We're trying to make progress, and the next thing you know, here comes another fee coming at you, and it's more money than you expected, and your whole math is thrown off, and it's awful. Learn more at chime.com/smalltownmurder. Chime is great with that stuff. I mean, you can't beat if your things are a little tight, especially around the holidays or after the holidays. Yeah. You need that money a couple days early, or you go grocery shopping. You got a car payment due. There's so many things that don't cross over exactly how you want them to cross over. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/smalltownmurder. That's chime.com/smalltownmurder. Feels like progress. Banking services and debit cards provided by Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. Spot me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a healthy, delicious item, Hero Bread. And we're both trying to get healthier this new year. Jimmie had a eye-opening doctor's appointment and things like that. So we're trying to get healthier, and I'm telling you right now, this Hero bread is a good terrific. Step in this direction. It's delicious, and it is really good for you, and it's really excellent. They have the sliced bread is good, the bagels, the tortillas. I know you've been
they're terrific.
Ranting about the tortillas. They're so good. With Hero bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience you love, but guilt-free. I really love the little Hawaiian rolls, too.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. The Hawaiian rolls, they're legit. They're fluffy. Yeah. They're exactly how you want them to be. You'd never know it's low-carb and high-fiber bread from the texture. You get the soft, fluffy experience you know and love with your savory breakfast sandwich, late-night grilled cheese, Taco Tuesday. Do it. No compromises, just flavor, ultra-low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, high in fiber. It's fantastic. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use the code SmallTownMurder at checkout. That's SmallTownMurder at HERO.co.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. You know, the most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch-up here or a total makeover. Yeah. Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing. No. They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently wherever your problem areas are. Tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's SONOBELLO.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Done and done. So, anyway, few days go by, 4 or 5 days, and they don't hear from him still. So they assume that his fucking phone is not responding to the rice, probably. So his friends call the ranch, and they stop by the ranch. They want to hang out, and they can't get a hold of him any other way, so they didn't know what else to do. So Deb said, he's still not back yet. I don't know when he's coming back because his fucking phone is inside. So he hasn't called me. Yeah. He's 29 years old. Right. I don't, I'm not going to.
Long training session.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I don't know, I don't keep track of my 29-year-old son and tell him, what time are you coming home? Right. When he comes home, he comes home. I don't know what to tell you. In the meantime, she's doing the ranch work. So, yeah. And they said, too, that she seemed annoyed with them to be back. Like, did I fucking tell you? I'll tell him to get a hold of you when he gets back. Leave me the fuck alone.
He has shit to do.
Yeah, she's just not into it. So, about a week later, about a few days later, about a little over a week's gone by, and a Gunnison County police officer here named Mark Michael, someone tells him about Jake. He just hears in town that Jake hasn't been around for a while, and he knows Jake, too. Yeah. He's known him, so he said, no, that's weird. So he calls the ranch, kind of half curious and half sort of half-hearted, not really police work because he's not a missing person. He's a fucking adult. Right. But just as a curious thing, he calls the ranch, and Deb talks to this officer and says that her son had taken off with a friend. Yeah. I don't know who the hell it was. What the fuck do I know? I'm an old lady in a ranch. Right. I don't care. They told her that they were headed to Reno to go camping and to stop at this gym and then go camping for a while. They said that, sometimes he did this. He'd take off to go camping or take off to go do something. Why not? Yeah. I don't know. Not really my problem.
Find him because my back hurts.
Yeah. So the police officer marks the case status as unfounded. Basically, there's no need to even file anything. It's just a young guy went for a fucking camping trip and his friends are being paranoid about it. But Jake's friends keep thinking there's something wrong. They keep going back to this police officer saying, I'm telling you, you got to look further into it. He's like, the guy's fucking mother told me he went camping. Right. What do you want from me? People are allowed to camp. It's a free country. So, finally, after a week of them doing this, the cop finally says, all right, I'll fucking call again. Maybe he's home now. I don't know. So this time, he talks to Deb, and they talk on the phone for a while, and she says the same thing. He's went away. He went camping, and asks her, was there anything that might have precipitated that? Yeah. Did he have a problem with a girlfriend? Yeah. Did he make him run off, or whatever people are? Fuck this, I need a few days. Right. People take off. And Deb said the only thing she could think of is that they had been arguing about, household shit.
He and
Deb, but she's like, but, that happens sometimes. But other than that, nothing really is going on. And they said, what were you arguing about? And she said, well, it's just hard because he's an adult. So two adults living at home in the same place and you butt heads, which makes sense.
And I'm his mother.
Exactly. So now she told them, like I said, she had told the friends that he went to an MMA gym, and so one of his friends said, quote, I know a bunch of guys in the MMA gym from Denver that he goes to, or from another place that he goes to, somewhere in Colorado. And so the mother basically told one of the friends she thinks it was one of those guys he took off with, one of the MMA guys. So this guy, his friend, says, I know a bunch of these guys, and he called him and said, is Jake with you guys? And they said, no, we're all in Denver. So no, not at all. We haven't seen Jake or heard from him. So the mother said that he grabbed some camping equipment, a gun, some cash, and grabbed a rifle and jumped in the car with some guy and took off to Reno. That was it. She said after that, if he doesn't come back, maybe he's in Nevada looking for work. Maybe he went to California with his friends. Maybe he went to see his dad in New Mexico. I don't fucking know. Grown man.
Maybe he went to Cupertino to get a new phone.
That's what I mean. No idea. He might have went right to the source. We have no fucking idea. He said, no, I'm not going to the store. I need to talk to somebody higher up about this purchase. So, now, once his friends start hearing about this, they actually start kind of feeling good for him. They think maybe he moved to California. Maybe he did take off because he had talked about that sometimes. I'd like, half of his brain told him maybe I should just get the fuck out of here, away from all these fucking people, my family, all this shit, and just go to California and hang out and, get a job out there and whatever, just do that. So they said maybe he did it. Maybe he's fucking gone. Maybe he just couldn't take it anymore, but then I thought, why the fuck would he want to leave? Yeah. He seems to he's going to inherit half this ranch. Right. Well, then I kind of talk a little about maybe why here. The ranch wasn't doing very well. Right. One of his friends described it as, quote, kind of a junkyard. It had a lot of old shit from Rudy, and that his mom had piled up, a lot of garbage. Jake lived in the lodge part, and this is a building that it's like a big lodge where a huge gathering where you could have big tables and like a
lot of walls.
Yeah, like a big end of, hunt, banquet or something you do there. And now, though, they put so much shit in there, Western shit. In this article in The Atlantic, they talk about it. Stuffed rattlesnakes, old bits and bridles, ancient guns, antique machines that were broken for 40 years. So much shit in a giant lodge that Jake barely had room for his bed in there.
Oh, no.
So, I mean, he was
hoarding in his house.
They're hoarding in his house. Yeah, and one of his friends said secretly sometimes he would take a bunch of shit to town and go like dumpster hunting and just go fucking fill his truck up, go to town and just go from a few dumpsters and apartment complexes. And just drop it in there just to try to get rid of some of it and to make some room. But he said there'd be more shit in there. His mom would put more crap in there.
She saw a nook.
Yeah. Oh, look, there's room in the corner now.
Oh, no.
Jesus Christ. So Jake apparently asked one of his friends to help him brand calves before. Sounds like not a job I want to do here.
Seems like they would try to run from that.
Yeah, well,
you know what I mean? You got to hold on tight.
Well, they said typically, apparently, a calf is herded into a mechanical chute where a clamp closes around him so he can't move, and then it flips them on their side, and then they
jam it
brand them.
Yeah.
That's what they do, but they don't have that at the 7-Eleven ranch. So basically, it was wrestling calves. Yeah, you have to fucking wrestle a calf, snag them with a rope, wrestle them to the ground, and hold them down while they're branded, which is horrible.
Yeah.
That sounds fucking... Imagine the bruises, and you'd be fucked up after that. Not to mention the cow.
Right. Then you got to let that thing go while it's got that brand new
and it's
welt.
Angry at you.
Oh, Jesus.
They said they needed maintenance on the corral. They said that, but Jake could never get around to fixing the things that needed fixing because there was just so much maintenance that he needed to keep up on. He never had a chance to start a project or anything. They said, one of his friends said, because the fences need fixing, the truck needs fixing, and we've got to brand all these cows now. He was like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? So, yeah, the family, they couldn't do this anymore. It became untenable for them to have cattle and all this shit. Right. So they ended up selling a bunch of other livestock off, and they stopped the hunting trips at the ranch too.
Seems like your cash cow.
Yeah, that became a problem. So after that, money became what him and Deb fought about constantly. Because Jake didn't get a check or anything for this. He didn't get, he wasn't an hourly employee.
He's just doing this.
He's just doing ranch work.
Out of the hope of getting something out of this place when it's done.
Yeah, he's living there and doing it because it's his family's place. It's not like this is a business where he's cutting a check every week. So, it's one of those things. He's just supposed to inherit it eventually here. Even if he had to go into town just to hang out at the Alamo there, he'd have to ask Deb for money.
Oh, my God.
So, the guy works 12 hours a day and breaks his balls and he doesn't have any cash in his pocket. Has nothing. Right. So, yeah, that's why they thought, I could see him running away here. He would try to scrounge up money in other ways. They said he would cut up and sell firewood around town. Just any ways to hustle. Yeah. He worked a little bit for a landscaping company on the weekends and shit. He came up with a scheme, as they called it, to grow weed and sell it to all the college kids there. Yeah. I'll grow weed and sell it to the college kids. But the problem was he would smoke the weed instead because, if you smoke a lot of weed, it's not a great thing to sell a lot of weed, probably.
Yeah. You got to sell a shitload of weed.
Yeah.
If you smoke a lot of weed.
That's the thing. You got to really sell a lot. He also cultivated psychedelic mushrooms, which is awesome. He had some psilocybin fucking mushrooms growing on his goddamn.
That's awesome.
So this guy's, to sell to the college kids, which is great.
Keep those away from mom.
Yeah. So if you went to Western Colorado University for a few years and ate mushrooms, they were probably from this guy. Yeah. That's pretty cool. And he also wanted to start a chimney sweeping business, which is a strange thing to start in the 2015. The 21st century. It's a very odd thing to start. It's like anybody, what people need these days? Shoe cobbling. Yeah. That's what they're looking for. That's what they're looking for out there, shoe cobbling.
I'm always blown away at the airport when I see a fucking shoe polish guy. I'm like, that guy really
and he's always working, too. He's always going.
The guy
That's
exists.
why. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Every airport has them, and the chairs are always full. Yeah. So people must want I think they're just they're there for 4 hours, so they're like, might as well get my shoes shined, I guess.
I think it's just amazing that people fly in shoes that need to be polished.
Can you imagine that?
Feels awful.
Whenever we're on a plane and there's some fucking dude in a suit next to me that clearly has to go when he lands to a business meeting and all that. I just want to laugh at him the whole time I'm there because I'm like, I am going to fuck off, smoke some weed, and then hang out with my best friend and make dick jokes in front of 1,000 people. And isn't that great?
And I'm in Under Armour sweatpants.
And we're both sitting next to each other. Isn't that hilarious?
If this flight attendant's hot, you're about to see that I like her.
Because of my pants. It's like, what am I going to do to her? Jesus, Jimmy.
This guy's wearing a fucking suit.
I thought you meant I was going to assault her. So I was like, Jesus Christ, Jimmy, I'm a nice guy.
I just mean...
Yeah, the Under Armour.
You're going to see the outline of my cock.
More of an Adidas guy anyway, but I get what you're saying.
And this guy's got his fucking Brooks Brothers on.
Oh, that's awesome.
Unreal.
So, this all goes on. One summer, finally, Jake ended up working on a commercial fishing boat in Alaska. Yeah. Like the Deadliest Catch type shit. Right. He goes up there. They make good money for a couple of months. He came home with $15,000 that he made, and he ended up having to give it all to Deb, though, to keep the ranch going.
Oh,
so they were in debt and they needed a bunch of shit fixed, and so it ended up all going to the ranch. His friend Ant there said, quote, he was always pretty pissed off about that, which is understandable. Now he should have just fucking left. He should have just went and whatever, but he kept staying there. But like I said, he wanted to leave, but he wanted to stay. It was one of those things. Because he said, too, if he could get this ranch, that's a big deal. If he could get a 700-acre ranch, he could make it how he wants it without his mom and all that.
Sell some of it and have some money.
Yeah, do that. Restart the hunting things. You could do anything you want there. So, but apparently him and his mother would break his balls a lot, basically. Tell her that it's not doing as well as it did under Rudy and it's your fault and all that. Well, he ran it for 50 years, so he knew how to do it better. Plus, he's a fucking crawls through rice paddies with a straw. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do you expect from me?
Rudy's a goddamn hero.
You home homeschooled me. Whatever I'm lacking is your fault, Deb. Sorry.
This is absolutely on you, Deb.
This is on you. If I'm, not great at my accounting or something, well, guess who taught math class?
Consider the source, sugar.
Yeah. So, it was just, it wasn't going well. And like I said, a lot of these ranches aren't doing well around this time, so this is pretty normal. She complained, though, that he was lazy and he would sleep too late and, all that sort of shit. And he's a little bit of a stoner and he's left jobs unfinished.
And he's tired.
One of his friends said whenever you were out there, they'd be at each other's throats. Now, his sister, on the other hand, is his real nemesis.
Really?
His sister is his nemesis here, Stephanie, apparently. Steph moved back in 2012 to this area. She'd been living in Denver, like I said, her stepfather there.
Put $30,000 down for
Yeah,
it, right?
They bought a $74,000 2-bedroom house in Denver, with $30,000 of that coming from Rudy. By the way, I just found out, I didn't see this before. Rudy's first name is Marion.
Okay.
So they call him Rudy because his last name is Rudiger. Okay.
God damn it.
Or Rudabaugh, my bad. So anyway, Steph ends up coming back to the ranch. She earns a little bit of money here and there taking tourists on horseback rides and shit like that. They have a son. She's got a husband and they have a son, and she wanted to bring her son here to raise him here, like she was raised. She thought it was fun, it's the mountains. It's a different lifestyle than living in the city.
It ain't Denver.
Yeah, exactly. She described herself as not good with backhoe things, but a horsewoman and a country girl. So she's not good at digging trenches or anything, but she knows how to work horses really well, and she's a country girl, self-described. But growing up, she wasn't the one who had to do the digging. That would be her brother, and
of course,
that sort of deal there. So they never got along, Steph and Jake, which is amazing. It's very strange. Steph ended up texting her friend at one point, quote, "Yes, he's mellow," talking about Jake. She's complaining about Jake all the time. And her friends are like, "He seems pretty mellow to me." And she said, quote, "Yes, he's mellow with friends, but with family, he's a complete dick most of the time." So they're saying basically that Jake is two different people. Yeah. When he's home, he's a fucking asshole to everybody. That's what his mother says and his sister says. But when he's out with his friends, he's an easy, laid back, easy-going guy.
Well, maybe he's tired because it feels like you two are living in the fucking lap of luxury while he's doing all the hard shit.
That's the other thing, yeah. So I would say that. So he ends up, Steph moved back, like I said, 2012. She rented her home in Denver and did this. So once they're there, she did say, though, she moved there. She told one of her friends that she doesn't want her son, Alan, A-L-U-N, by the way, and we'll talk about why that is.
God damn it.
Doesn't want Alan going to school here in Denver. Kids are fucked up, and, well, I'm totally sick of Denver, she told one of her friends in an email. So basically, Steph and Jake had worked out the only way they could to get along together, and that was to try to not ever see or talk to each other. That's their way. Hey, this is going to work out just fine as long as we never look at each other. Can we do that? Is that possible?
You got 711 acres. Get lost.
Yeah. Fucking go ride horses all you want. I'll be this over here. Matter of fact, I'm going to get a lion. Maybe that's why Rudy had the lion, to keep Deb the fuck away from him. Deb, leave me alone. I swear to Christ, I'll buy a fucking lion and train it to hate you.
What, are you allergic to cats? I'm going to get the biggest fucking cat you've ever seen.
Giant. So, they don't do anything like that. Now, the problem is that Dave, who is Steph's husband, by the way, Dave's last name is Jackson, so the son's name is
Alan Jackson.
You got it.
You've got to be fucking me.
Alan Jackson. So
fuck you. Are you serious? Is that why they did it?
No, that isn't why they. I'll tell you. It's part of it probably,
of
but
course.
He's named after somebody, which was another point of contention, as we'll talk about. So. Things here, her husband Dave and Jake were total opposites. They said Dave's real cocky and real kind of outgoing kind of a guy, and Jake is more reserved. Basically, Jake hated everything about Dave, couldn't fucking stand him, even hated his car. You know you hate someone when you see their car and you're like, fucking son of a bitch.
This guy.
Fucking piece of shit. You ever hate someone like that?
Hell yeah.
Isn't that great?
What kind of car is it?
It's a Ford station wagon, a white Ford station wagon with flames painted on it.
Get out of my life.
Only a complete asshole.
Why would he do that?
Would have a white station wagon and paint flames on it.
And he had that shit in Denver.
Yeah,
he wasn't made fun of?
I'm sure. Maybe that's why they moved away from Denver. People, they chased him out of the neighborhood.
Everybody took it out on your fucking stupid named kid because your husband's got a fucking dumb car.
He's being fined by the HOA for having it parked in the neighborhood. That was the problem there.
Fucking Caprice out of here.
Get the fuck out of here. So, yeah. So they're constantly fighting, these two. They're constantly beefing back and forth. And like, that Jake's friends also said that Jake was kind of scared of Dave a little bit. Not like he was perfectly willing to fight him and all that sort of thing, but he said that Dave was kind of unpredictable and potentially violent. So he didn't know where the line was with Dave, where it went from an argument to, that sort of thing
the
here.
Guy that drives that kind of car.
Yeah, and like he said, like he would make jokes, Jake, like, I keep my gun by my bed just in case that asshole's, you never know if he snaps one night, and they'd joke around like that. So at that point, like we said, Jake was training, doing some jujitsu, doing some like MMA fighting for exercise, though. He wasn't one of those guys that's like, I'm going to fucking get in the octagon at 29.
Right.
That wasn't his goal. He was always a little chubby and he wanted to lose weight.
Just
basically
wants to wear a 34 again.
Yeah, that's all. That's all it is.
Right.
So he was doing that. It's in Gunnison. Like I said, I don't know what the level of jiu-jitsu training is in Gunnison, Colorado.
Doesn't sound like a place where the Gracies have a gym.
No, probably not. It's just some cowboy there. Let me teach you some things, boy. Now, if the
cowboy rear naked joke is a bit scary.
If the calf tries to make a break, this is what you do. Oh, you want to know how to fight people? Shit, this is a calf jiu-jitsu class. This will teach you how to wrestle a calf to the ground to brand them, see, in case you ain't got no equipment. That's where you learned it.
That's how you get a gelding in an arm bar.
Oh, that's how you do it. Get him in an arm bar. That'll make him tap out now. You won't see it, but you'll see that little hoof going. That's a tap out. That means you can let up a little bit and go on ahead and brand him. He's giving in. It's all right. So he's there. He says that he liked the jiu-jitsu thing because it was good for his temperament. It was slower. It was nice. There's not a lot of striking. Yeah. This gym is mostly just grappling.
Okay.
So he liked that. One of his friends said, there's no striking. It's all about distance management, leverage, control. It's like playing chess with the human body.
Right.
So that's what one of his, the instructor there. So they said Jake was always kind of chubby and always uncomfortable about it. So the jiu-jitsu, he dropped a bunch of weight.
Oh, I'm sure.
And he started getting into being healthy and feeling better about himself.
Had a couple ugly years.
Yeah. Had to do it. Hey, you know what? We all have. So this went into everything in his life. Like he started trying to really be like healthy. His friends said that he would be on this diet, and if one of his friends got McDonald's or something, he'd fucking bitch at him for it.
Oh my God.
He's like, guys, that's not good for you, man. You shouldn't be eating that.
Don't be that guy, Jake.
Come on, Jake. Leave me alone.
Shut up, Jake.
You ever had a quarter pounder with cheese? It's delicious.
Enjoy your cucumber.
It's absolutely delicious.
Shut the fuck up.
He would chug at least a gallon of water a day.
Okay.
Do all of that. He had he thought hydration was the secret to everything. And even on the ranch too, he would try to clean it up. Even if his mother would bitch at him, he didn't care. He'd bring shit into town, like I said, tossing it in the dumpsters and all this type of shit. But the beef keeps going and going. One of the things they're beefing about, him and his sister, is the son's name.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Why does Jake care?
Well,
apart from he has to call him Alan.
The son's name, Alun, Alan, they named him in honor of Jake's best friend, Alan Howells, who was a soldier who was 20 years old when he was killed in Baghdad in combat. Right. So this was when Stephanie was pregnant. So Alan was named in honor of this guy.
Jake's friend.
Jake's friend.
You didn't know him, lady.
Exactly. One of his friends said, quote, Jake thought Steph had hijacked Alan's name. Alan was his friend, not Steph's.
Really?
Yeah. He was pissed about it.
Legitimately not even her friend.
No, it was his friend. It was his best friend. So he was like, these two don't even like each other, and it's his best friend. She's going to fucking act like she's so broken up, and that was what it was. So they were fighting about that. Also, Dave, apparently, this is a great quote here. This is from a guy who worked on the ranch occasionally just to try to, he had bought one of Jake's bikes from him, and he would do work to pay it off.
Got it.
That was the trade-off that they made. So, this guy said, quote, Jake didn't like the thought that his sister had married a carny. Apparently, Dave was a carny at one point. So, if you've ever known a carny, you don't want your sister
No.
Marrying a fucking carny, ever.
And is Dave Alan's dad? Is that like his real dad?
That's his dad. Steph and Dave have been married for over 10 years.
Wild.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, yeah.
And she bastardized his friend's name.
And she took his friend's name. And, and the kid, it's not the kid's fucking fault. No. The poor kid she's just a kid. He has no control over his name, who his parents are. Nothing like that. He's just a child. So
she bastardized a dude's name that died in Iraq and then gave him the last name that makes it something entirely different.
Yep.
You bitch.
It's a weird thing. It's super fucking weird, man.
You named my nephew. What if he hates Alan Jackson, too? You know?
No.
And then you rob my best friend's name, and I fucking hate that guy's music.
His music sucks.
Now I fucking hate my nephew.
And I don't think he likes Alan Jackson, Jake, either. Based on some information I get later, he just doesn't seem like an Alan Jackson guy to me. So apparently Stephanie complained to people that she couldn't even say hello to Jake. It would be a fight. They'd get in a big fight. Her mother told police when they were looking for him, they were asking questions. She said, quote, he hated her, she hated him. That's that. So Dave Jackson, the Alan's father, Steph's husband, told police, quote, he always pissed me off. They always got in a fight. Said, quote, all my stuff was scattered. He said that Jake would throw his tools and shit on the ground. He said at one point he dumped all his tools on the ground and sold his toolbox.
That's awesome.
Out from under Dave. So Dave said, quote, all my stuff was scattered to be trampled on by cows and such. Mm-hmm. So these are all little things, really. Yeah. But when you live with people, these things just, they fester and they swell.
And you know what? If you pour all my tools out and sell my toolbox, that's where they fucking go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's what I mean.
That's
so
kind
just
of a
pour them on the
move.
ground. Couldn't even put them on a shelf. Yeah. We don't know if that's true or not.
I wonder what Dave did to him to deserve that, too.
We have no idea.
Yeah.
Apparently one day, though, Jake plowed snow. There snowed a lot, so he plowed the snow into huge banks that blocked in Dave's car, which is hilarious to me. That's fucking great, right?
Drive that piece of shit.
Fuck this car, yeah.
Luck,
there you go. You won't embarrass us in town anymore with your painted fucking flames, you douche.
I was trying to hide it from the neighbors.
Yeah. I picture him doing it with like a wall roller, too, like putting the paint on it, just like he taped it out, and then he's just like, fuck it, got a roller. There we go. Perfectly done.
I wish I could have been there when Jake blocked it in, just smiling.
You could just picture him behind the plow, just going, this is going to be good. So, apparently they got in a big argument over this, and Dave took off his jacket to fight, and he had a gun on under his jacket. So Dave claims that he was not going to use the gun. He was planning to take that off, too, to fight. Because they were going to fist fight, basically. He just had it on because he was walking around the ranch. So that afternoon, though, Jake has had enough, and he files an order of protection against his brother-in-law. So
the guy lives in your house.
That's the problem. Because if it went into effect, Dave would have been banned from the ranch, which would have caused even more fucking turmoil with the sister and the mother. Right. So they're all up his ass. So finally, he withdraws the complaint a couple days later to save everybody the trouble. Mm-hmm. But obviously, that they were, always fighting. The mother said they couldn't be there at the same time.
That's when it's out of control, man.
It was out of control. Well, they're going to have fist fights outside. It's ridiculous. Now, Stephanie is really pissed off because it's at this point that they end up having to move to an apartment in town because Deb says, you guys can't be here at the same time. Right. Sorry. He does all the work around the house, so he's got to stay here. You guys got to go somewhere. Yeah. So now they own a house, but it's in Denver, so they have to rent an apartment in Gunnison. And she wrote on a website called moms.com.
Oh, boy. Jesus.
She complained. I take it this is a place where moms go to complain about things to other moms.
Sounds like next door for moms.
Yeah, because this has nothing to do with children. Not like, hey, my son ingested some cleaning product. Should I take him to the hospital? Nothing like that. Quote, my younger brother is trying to ruin my life.
Dear moms,
how can I make my mom see? Oh, maybe it's about your mom. Oh, maybe. How can I make my mom see that it's unhealthy for him to be there controlling her and her property like he owns it?
I don't know why you're posting this here. We're just trying to fuck moms.
We're trying. Just a bunch of dudes like, you got pics? Question mark. Of you or your mom. I don't care. Of me, my mom, or Jake. All of you. I don't know. Well, never mind Jake, but you and your mom, maybe.
You got babies too? Let's have a look see at that ass.
Got a pic together, maybe? Gotta have a fantasy thing going on here.
Just here to fuck moms.
Here to fuck moms.
You got the wrong website.
Oh, shit. So the following year, though, 2015, what we were all talking about, May 20th is when he's been missing a few days. Steph messaged a friend on May 13th and saying, quote, "My mom might be kicking my brother out soon," they said. And then a few days after that, she posted on Facebook, quote, "Have you ever been woken up with such awesome news you wanted to run outside screaming?" And a friend replied, "No more Jake?" ? And she commented, "Apparently Reno, long story, tell you soon." Okay. So she's like, "Oh, my fucking... Yeah. My brother's leaving." Ranch, yeah. So, So now Jake and Jake's friends here, they're meeting with the sheriff's office again here. Molly, his one friend, called Jake's dad, who's still alive in New Mexico, and said, "Is he with you?" Because they thought maybe he's with his dad. Yeah. I mean, that's a possibility. So they said, no. He said, "I haven't heard from him in weeks." This is June 2015, so a month has gone by. He says, "Why don't you file a missing person report up there? I'm in New Mexico. It'd be hard for me to do it." So, yeah. But the officer, the Michael guy, said he didn't think it was necessary. He said, "Look, I talked to the mother. Everything is checked out so far. I don't know what to tell you. The kid fucking took off. I know you're good friends with him and you expect him to, like, whatever, but maybe he didn't feel like talking to you. Right. At some point, like, people ditch people. And if he wanted to ghost you, that's his fucking prerogative. Yeah. You should really stop harassing his family and fucking leave it alone, basically." But eventually, through a bunch of rumors in town, just people talking about it all the time, the sheriff's office was kind of forced to reopen it. Yeah. And they did, and they ended up telling law enforcement in Reno, "Hey, if you run across this guy, let us know, basically, or, tell him to call home, whatever the fuck." So, our aunt guy here, said he tried to file a missing persons report, and he said the sheriff's department kept saying the family doesn't want it. So what are you going to do there? They said that several people were told, like they were told by family members, they were told by the police that only family members could file reports. File reports. No. Yeah. According to Colorado law, quote, "Any person with relevant, credible information suggesting a person is missing may make a missing persons report to law enforcement."
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's just, the sheriff was just kind of blowing them off, is what it sounds like. Now, they talked to Deb a little more just because they have to, and Deb finally tells the cops, "Look, my son uses drugs. I didn't want to tell you that earlier, but he smokes marijuana. He started using steroids recently when he's trying to get in shape. He's been working out at this gym," and she said he's kind of been hanging out with the wrong crowd down at this gym, and they've gotten him into steroids. He was growing those mushrooms.
Yeah.
And those silly mushrooms make you see things. And also has been dabbling in cocaine recently as well, since he's been hanging out with these people doing steroids and shit. So, I mean, This is the story she's giving to the cops, that he's hanging out with some shady people.
He's all roided out and drugged up. You'd have no idea where he's been.
Who the fuck knows where he could be? He could just be posing on a beach in California somewhere, just
there's no idea where he is.
Screaming at people. Coked up on mushrooms and steroids? Holy shit. With jiu-jitsu training? That's a dangerous man.
Did she say he's doing coke?
She said he's doing coke too now.
Oh, boy.
She said she's found white powder before, and ever since he's been hanging out with these guys, it's been steroids. And before was he smoking that wacky weed. That's all good, Even up here with the old folks, that wacky tobacco ain't no problem.
She was taking bong rips while she was telling the cops the story.
Now.
I seen him doing drugs.
Let me tell you about this. Hold on a minute. Oh, boy, that one got me good. So she also tells police that her son, when he left, had stolen one of her books titled, quote, "How to Disappear Without Leaving a Trace," as well. So, she said he also stole some other stuff and shit like that, but he stole that book. Yeah. She said that as well, he used to physically and verbally abuse her, that she said. She said he'd physically abuse me and verbally threaten me. She told the investigators that he used her, quote, "like a crash test dummy with his mixed martial arts training thing." So he's doing rear naked chokes on his 68-year-old frail mother.
This tiny old woman, he's going to pin her down.
What the fuck? She told the police, quote, "He would hold me and sit on me and stuff."
Good Lord.
Holy Jesus, that is fucking terrible, man.
Jake's a dick.
From what she says, it's his mom saying that, for Christ's sake, if your mother says that. So then his friend Nate Lopez said he spent a lot of time talking to local law enforcement, and they just told me that the only people they can really believe is the family. They said if Jake, if they say that Jake went on a trip and they're the last people to see him, that's what we have to go on until there's any evidence of anything else. So Jake's friends, though, they keep fucking doing it. They keep going at it. Steph, finally, the sister, messages one of Jake's friends and says, quote, "Do you have any idea who keeps reporting Jake missing?" So every time someone reports him missing, the cops have to come to the house and make sure he's not there. Right. So they're starting to get annoyed, the family. She says, quote, "I would really like it if they would just call mom instead." So, you want to know where he is? Call my mother, basically. But they would also, so they started doing that. So they started, basically all of his friends started calling every day. So then his mom got mad and told the sheriff to tell them to stop doing it. So now the sheriff's telling the friends, just fucking stop. Stop filing reports. Stop doing anything. So weeks go by. More weeks. His friends, nothing. They get nothing out of him. They don't feel shit. Stephanie and Dave move out of their apartment. They come back to the 7-Eleven ranch, and they're, just going on with their business. That's that. And his friends are pissed off because this article in the Atlantic, they talk about this. His one friend, Ant, there said, I feel like if it was the sheriff's son, he might have looked a little harder.
Probably true.
Whatever. But finally, they said that they needed to look for the kid, for Jake themselves. They said, we can't depend on the cops. We can't depend on any of these fucking people. We're going to find him.
Oh, boy.
Which, good luck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Bunch of Gunnison Hicks.
Yeah, we're going to find him. Hold on. I got to work till 6 at the lumber yard. But I mean, at the same time, that's got to be really frustrating. Yeah. If you feel like something is wrong and and you're doing this, these are good friends. Yeah. These are good. They actually give a shit about it. Nobody, I don't know 6 people that would give a fuck if they'd be like, I don't know, he left a long time ago. No. I forgot he existed.
Even my girlfriend would be like, 2 days without a call.
He must have ghosted me. Fuck him. Yeah, that's what I mean. Totally, right? Yeah. These are good friends. So one guy, the Ant guy, was in a hardware store parking lot when he saw something. He saw Jake's motorcycle there. It's a 1976 Harley Sportster. By this time, though, the motorcycle, it's clearly Jake's, but it's got a really shitty quickie paint job on it.
Has it got flames on
it? Is it what with flames? And a modified gas tank.
Oh.
Well, you don't need to know if there's flames on it because Dave was riding it.
Oh. So there are.
It is Dave riding it. And his friend Ant said, quote, "If Jake ever saw Dave Jackson breathing on his motorcycle, it would have been the end of the world."
Yeah.
And this guy is riding around on it. And why is it all spray painted these shitty different colors?
Right.
Was his friend's quote.
The tank.
What's going on? What is happening with this? So his friends are fucking concerned, obviously. 2 other friends were looking for used motorcycles shopping when they found 2 more of Jake's motorcycles for sale in a local shop.
Oh, no.
And they were like, what the fuck? So they ended up talking to the owner of the shop and obtained the title to one of them. It was a Honda, and it had Jake and Deb's signature on it, signing it over. Now the friend Ant said that Jake's looked like a forgery to him.
Didn't look like his autograph.
No, he said, quote, "You could see Deb's signature and you could see Jake's signature underneath it, and it's the same freaking handwriting," he says. So, which, I mean, it could have been either one of them doing it, so who knows? So, but they said these motorcycles were a big thing of
That's his thing.
This is crazy. Yeah. What is going on? Why are they selling his stuff? But I mean, if he took off and hasn't contacted his family in months and they're short on money, well, they're going to start selling off motorcycles, I would think, at the same time. So one day, though, Ant ran into Deb at the grocery store, which is quite the confrontation. So he starts talking. He starts asking her all sorts of questions, this guy. He says, "Where's Jake?" And then, she would say, "I don't know." He'd say, "Well, why didn't you file a missing persons report? You need to follow up with the police and get on this shit." And she said, basically, "I don't know where he is, and I don't want to get in trouble for filing a false report if he ends up just popping back up again."
Well, that's not a false report, Mom.
No, it's not. That's the thing.
I hope my mom's not this carefree if I go anywhere.
My mom wouldn't be.
Yeah,
my mom's Italian. She'd be crazy. Are you kidding me? She'd be hunting you. She'd be hunting people.
My mom would be like, "He's off on some grand adventure somewhere. Hope he's having fun."
No.
Jesus, Mom, I'm dead.
My mom would be under the rice patties with a straw coming out of her mouth. Italian
Jimmie?
mothers are different. Where is he?
She's underwater screaming.
Yeah,
Jimmie.
it's a way different thing. Sorry.
Just scaring poor Vietnamese people out of their property. There's my Jimmie here.
Oh, God. So finally, 3 months after he was last seen, so this is May to June, July, finally Deb officially reports him missing. She says in the report that his interest in MMA brought him into contact with a bad crowd, and that she told investigators, I figure he got in over his head with something and is either in witness protection or in hiding or dead.
What?
Holy shit.
It's really going far.
My God.
Shamrock's not that dangerous.
Fuck me. Yeah, he's, it's just a nickname. It's just marketing, sweetheart. Babe, just marketing. Come on. So Ant ends up creating a Facebook page. I'd love to see some of our crimes.
So
you looked at me like, what? Technology. Oh, yeah, it's new. Oh, yeah. Called, quote, Where is Jake Millison? It's fair. He posted photos of him, Jake in a bunch of different settings, and asked people to share any information that might be useful or anything like that. Someone reports on the site that they saw Deb, Steph, and Dave all burning Jake's mattress days after he disappeared.
Oh, my God.
That's their claim on this Facebook page, which, we all have Facebook. Yeah. Claims on Facebook are about as valid as a homeless man screaming it into the night. Right. You know what I mean? It's pretty much the same thing. That's how you should look at Facebook.
Yeah.
People look at shit different. And I know this because you've got trouble arguing with your family on there about shit and stuff like that.
I don't have a family anymore,
That's
James.
On Facebook.
That's
you got to wipe them clean.
I've gotten rid of all of it.
I've done it too with people. And it's some people too that I do it because if it's someone like I'm related to or something, I do it because I don't want to hate them.
Right.
That's why I do it. So it's like if I keep reading your dumb shit, I'm going to hate you, and it's going to be very hard for me to pretend like I like you next time I see you.
Right.
So instead, I will get rid of you off my thing, and then when I see you, I'll still like you because I'll forget what your fucking crazy views are. It's fine. So that's fine.
I can't do it when I grew up with these women, man,
this is
and
different.
they're just so dumb. God damn it, they're both so fucking dumb.
Yeah, I know. I could see it, man. But, this is fucking crazy, though.
So that's the other part about Facebook, too, is that you have friends that are friends together, and now you're going to start
friends of friends
throwing out the clues that you've got in this guy's disappearance. Here's my clue. Well, here's my clue. And we're all going to come together publicly about what we think.
And the sad part is this is their only recourse. They have nothing else they can do other than maybe hire private investigators, but we don't know if they have money. A private investigator to go from state to state and looking for people, that's expensive as fuck. If you're blue collar people, it's not easy to afford that.
In
it's going to cost you thousands.
If they just had the gumption and wherewithal to start a podcast, they'd be number one today.
Yeah, Where is Jake? Where is Jake would have been a big podcast.
A bunch of Gunnison residents looking
and there was podcasts back then, so
they shut up.
But honestly, if you have a Facebook, look at it just like every person is just a crazy, the craziest homeless person you've ever seen screaming into the night. That's Facebook. You know how you ignore what they say? Right. Yeah. That's what you do there. Same thing. Oh, it's just he's clearly mentally ill and screaming at the stars, screaming at Venus to leave him alone and stop looking at him.
But then you got to look at it too as like it's probably easier for people in like New York or San Francisco or LA to be able to dismiss posts like that. But people like me who grew up not in a big city that, where there's not just random weirdos on a train screaming, "I'm gonna fuck your pussy" in your face.
Yeah, that's
you know
true.
What I mean? You're like, I'm a dude.
Yeah, that's like the subway thing when the guy's yelling at you, and I was like, so
ignore him.
Fucking ignore him.
That's what you do?
You were like, huh? And then you were like, that's what the conductor said, too. I was like, yeah, that's what you do. You just ignore them.
Can't ignore that.
Yeah, they yell at you like twice. If you ignore them, they go on to the next person. That's how it works.
At me, he's going to finger my cunt.
Yeah, that's how they do it. Trying to get your attention. And if you just ignore them, they're like, not his cunt, I guess. And they move on to the next one.
Against my will.
That's how it works. So,
wild.
At one point, someone else noticed after he disappeared that Dave changed his Facebook profile picture, and in his new picture, he was sitting on one of Jake's motorcycles.
Oh, you did.
So they said that would have not gone over too big. All sorts of tips come to the Facebook group, and anything that comes in, they share with law enforcement as well. Finally, though, after all of this, all these tips, all these things coming in, pressure from all these people, the police officer finally decided, quote, that this was a serious matter here. Well, yeah. So anyway, that winter, things were rough on the ranch. Dave texted his friend that during this, that with Jake gone, he has to do everything now. So now he's the new Jake. So good luck.
Ain't it tough, Dave?
He said, quote, I'm sick of being a slave for Steph and her mother on this ranch while she's in the lodge, warm, cozy, fucking around on her phone. So there's that.
Now you know how Jake felt.
So Dave threatens to leave.
Yeah.
He says, I'm fucking out of here. Stephanie takes a gun out and fires a bullet into the floor in front of him and says, you ain't going nowhere, motherfucker.
Take it easy,
That's some old-timey ranch shit right there. Where are you going? Pow! That's, whoa.
Holy shit.
I guess I'm staying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's around this time, too, that Deb's health begins to deteriorate. Mm-hmm. She ends up going into the hospital for a collapsed lung. And she gets a biopsy revealing she has stage 4 breast cancer.
Oh, no.
And she is in rough shape, and she's withering away because she was very small to begin with.
Right.
Not good for Deb here at all. So anyway, and his friends over time, because 2 years go by. So after 2 years, his friends, nothing's going on. His friends start moving away. His one friend moves to Texas. Someone else moves to Colorado Springs. You know, it's just like people live their lives. They have to move on. They can't just spend their whole lives looking for someone. Right. So finally, the sheriff's department in 2017, 2 years fucking later, asked the Colorado Bureau of Investigation for help on the case.
You get the Colorado FBI.
You know, just stop by. Hey, it's been 2 years we've been looking, so maybe we want to stop by. So, 2 years after Jake's disappearance, Aunt met with a CBI agent who told them they were making progress, but Aunt said, quote, she said, I can't tell you anything, but things are in the works for you guys. The case was moving along. Mm-hmm. And it really comes to a head on July 17th, 2017, when basically every single officer in Gunnison County, including a bunch of Colorado investigators and ambulances and fire trucks and cadaver dogs and every fucking piece of cavalry you can imagine descends on the 7-Eleven ranch first thing in the morning.
Oh no.
Holy shit. It's like a parade of shit coming down the highway to the house.
Boy.
So ambulances, they have to search 700 acres, which is quite a lot. And even stuff around that too, bordering neighbors' properties. And his friend said, quote, later on that day, there are reports that they found a body, and you just know. There's not another reason for a body to be out there. So people start talking about it in town, things like that. They start hearing all the rumors. Turns out they did find his body. They found his body buried under a 7-foot deep pit.
Okay.
With a barrel of goat skulls and various dead farm animals on top of him.
Oh, no.
That's how they did it. And when sheriff's deputies dug up the pit, they found all this stuff as well.
Right.
All these bones. Barrel full of sheep and goat heads. Just a barrel of heads.
Yeah.
Who the fuck?
Why do you keep that?
Who keeps a fucking barrel of head? I'm sorry, that's twisted. I don't know if that's some ranch shit. You're like, wow, put it in the head barrel.
Right.
We got a head bucket, and there's a right leg bucket. No, that's right front. Left rear goes in the other bucket. I don't know how it works.
Do they use all the rest of the animal except for its head?
I have no idea, but
that's wild.
They found him under a pile of heads, and at this point they found it was skeletal remains,
of course, missing
an arm.
What?
As well, missing an arm. Now, what the fuck could the police excuse possibly be for 2 years plus worth of shit here? They said that They dispute. They said that it's not that we didn't take his friend's concerns seriously. They said we were working pretty hard. It just takes a really long time. You can't just show up somewhere and search. There's a thing called the Fourth Amendment. You know what I mean? Yeah, but you can also show up places and ask all the fucking questions you want. Yeah. It's called a murder investigation or a missing persons investigation. Know what I mean? Dipshit.
Is that
you
search
dumb
and
useless motherfucker? Yeah, it's unlawful search and seizure. Yeah, you can't go on and rip the property apart without a warrant. But you sure can try to build a case toward getting a fucking warrant. You just go, well, can't just go there with no warrant. So where do you think warrants come from? The fucking warrant fairy delivers them at night? No. You put together evidence, brings it to a judge, and they go, here's a fucking warrant. Go look at shit. What the fuck are we talking about?
It's a probable cause.
Holy shit. Nope. I don't know. He said, I mean, we only had one investigator for the entire county.
Wow.
Well, fuck me. Maybe you need more.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Hire another.
Yeah. How many people did you have going giving tickets out? Right. I bet you had more than one person giving tickets out, but not more than one person fucking investigating. I'm so flustered about it.
I know Jake's got 6 friends that are pretty good at investigation. Yeah. Hire one of them.
Fuck, slap a badge on him at this point. So they're looking at motives. Who could have been? What could it have been? They look at Steph, obviously. Lifetime of animosity, tension over the inheritance of the ranch because she was mad. Yeah. Absolutely. Also, constant clashes between Deb and him. And then, of course, Dave. Dave's a guy.
He's a real cocksucker.
Yeah, Dave's a carny who fucking, who Jake filed a restraining order against. So
he drives a station wagon with flames. That's enough.
He's an asshole. Yeah. A human being with a station wagon with flames on it is an
trash.
Asshole.
Yeah.
White trash Joe Dirt.
Right.
That's some Joe Dirt shit right there. Lock it, painted the flames on this morning.
They moved out of Denver because they hated Denver. Dutch boy. But I guarantee you, Denver hated them more.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they knew they didn't fit there.
Your car, your kid's named Alan Jackson. Fuck both of you.
And Jake had told his friends, by the way, over the course of time, and their friends repeatedly told police this, that, quote, if anything ever happened to me, Dave is the one responsible. So, I mean, didn't matter though. So then investigators, they questioned Deb, Steph, and Dave, obviously separately, and many, many times over. Their stories are completely contradictory to each other, different timelines. They're all saying how great that person is, but then you can't really trust this one. Like they're all like kind of turning on each other. Everybody says that Jake at one point had been his mother's favorite, but the last few years everything had shifted, and Deb started complaining to Steph about Jake, and that Steph liked to egg her on about it because she wanted to be the favorite, basically. So Deb told the investigators that Steph was insistent that Deb evict Jake from the place, but he was Steph said that he's a freeloader. And so the mother said, no, that's not it at all. But the sister told her, without tough love, he's never going to be independent, ever at all.
Oh boy.
Not going to happen. She said, she said the only way, then Deb tells police that Steph told her, quote, the only way he's going to leave here voluntarily is if he's in a body bag.
Jesus.
That's Jesus Christ is right. That's rough. So, apparently, at some point, investigators now find an amended version of Deb's will, dated 3 weeks before Jake vanished in May of 2015. And instead of leaving the ranch to Jake and Shane, the property and everything else she owned goes completely to Steph. Jake had nothing in this will whatsoever.
Shane didn't do a goddamn thing for this.
Not shit. Yeah, well, it was his dad's ranch. Yeah. That's why. So his
my point is, like, Shane's not getting anything, and he got cut out.
He got cut out, which is bull, because I assume when his dad bought this ranch and owned it for 60 years, he said, my son will run this one day, or my daughter or somebody, and then they got completely cut out of it. So that sucks, which he should have in his will made it specific that, he should have been more specific. But either way, he probably trusted his wife, I would think, to do the right thing. Right. So in January 2018, still nobody's been charged or anything, David Jackson finally decides to implicate his wife here.
Really?
He says, quote, this is fucking funny. Honestly, after all this and all of that, I have a strong feeling it could have been Steph. Really, a strong feeling, eh? I really get a hunch it was Steph, but I'm not positive. That's literally his next line. Quote, I really get a hunch it was Steph, but I'm not positive.
It was the day she fired a shot at me. I kind of got it that, she'll fucking kill somebody.
Plus, we all live in the same house and the same property. So if one of us starts murdering people, you get a hunch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then they both fail a polygraph test about their involvement and knowledge in the killing as well.
Dave too?
Dave and Steph.
Oh, boy.
Both fail. So Deb tells investigators that the week Jake went missing, she had been exhausted from working the night shift at a nursing home. Deb had done. She asked Jake to take care of an errand, and he left it half finished and went into town to fuck off with his friends. That's what she tells him. She said this was the last straw. Deb says she waited until he fell asleep that night, and she shot him in the head.
Deb said that.
Deb, the mother, his fucking 68-year-old cancer-ridden 75-pound mother.
Wow.
Shot him in the head. She said that she disposed of the body on her own. Okay? She told police that she killed him with one bullet from her Smith & Wesson Lady Smith 357 revolver.
That's right.
That's a ranch woman. she has got a special lady version of a 357 revolver.
She's got roses or it's pink or something.
It's got a pink handle or like a rose carved into it or something, but it's a Ladysmith. It's clearly like a... Wow.
It says Ladysmith on it.
Oh, yeah. She said she did it sometime after 2 that morning. And she did it. She said she killed him because of his abuse to her, doing MMA moves on her and shit. She said, I get up and I take the 357 and I walk upstairs and I stand there a second and ask myself, do you want to live the rest of your life like this, however long or short it would be? And my mind goes, no. And I pulled the trigger. Wow. Well, that's his mom.
That's cold.
That's mom.
Yeah.
That's not, that's mom.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? I don't know if we've had this before.
No.
We've had mothers killing young kids, but they don't kill their adult children.
30-year-olds?
If they don't kill them by 2, they're probably not going to,
They generally make it.
They make it, especially with mothers. The mother's going to protect it if they don't, do it by 2.
And if she has another baby, then that 2 years resets. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if she keeps having them, eventually she's going to kill one that's under 2.
Yeah,
and all of them are going
that's going. It's all gone.
The one that's 9 also.
So the investigators are like, okay, Ladysmith, that makes sense. Because the slug, by the way, they found, they did realize that it's a 357 bullet that killed him, probably, more than likely. They said, how the fuck did you dispose of his body, being that you're a tiny, frail old woman?
Right. How'd you get it out there?
She said she managed, this is amazing, she moved the body, quote, using Yankee ingenuity and my knowledge of physics and chemistry and stuff.
What, she built like
and stuff. Well, I mean, chemistry is important in this too. Physics is important in this. Chemistry really has nothing to do with
nothing at all.
Moving a body at all, unless you wanted to dissolve it chemically.
Right.
That would be chemistry, and then physics wouldn't matter.
No.
Physics and chemistry rarely matter at the same time when you're disposing of a body. Put it that way.
Unless you're trying to figure out how much volume fits in a vat of acid,
and that's it's neither of those things. No. That's a different thing, and stuff, though. And chemistry and stuff. So her vast knowledge of the sciences, obviously, mixed with her, quote, Yankee ingenuity, let her figure it out. She said this is her explanation. She rolled his body in a plastic sheet, then used tow straps and a winch to maneuver it out of the log and onto an ATV. And she said that Steph and Dave knew nothing about it. She said, quote, but if I shot him in self-defense while he was asleep because I was afraid that what would happen if he woke up again, that's not self-defense, ? Like, well, how is that not self-defense? I was afraid of him. And they were like, yeah, no, that's not how that works. No. If someone's sleeping, that's the least threatening they could possibly be. They're literally unconscious.
You're as safe as it gets right now.
They cannot hurt you from that state. So... If he sleepwalks and comes after you with a butcher knife, then we'll talk about it. But otherwise...
He throws some MMA on you and you get some bruises. Call us up and we'll come arrest him for it.
No shit. Yeah. So they figured out what he did the last night. He left. He went with his friend to Crested Butte, Colorado, and to see Mad Max Fury Road, the movie. They asked a couple other friends to join them, but people couldn't do it. One of the guy from the ranch that bought the Harley, he couldn't afford it. And after the movie, they went to Gunnison to play pool at the Alamo bar. They returned to the ranch. He returned to the ranch. Jake went to bed. They checked his phone for the last things he ever did on his phone right before this happened, and he watched Daft Punk and Pharrell sing shit. They watched videos. I mean, I don't think he's an Alan Jackson guy if he's watching Daft Punk on here and Pharrell on here with his fucking
happy.
hat. Yeah, and sing "Get Lucky." That
was the song.
That was the song he was listening to, and a routine by J.L. Covan, the comedian.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I was like. Wow, that's the most pub he's ever gotten. Good for him. Hey, somebody fucking got killed while they were watching me? Fucking awesome. Finally.
I wonder if JL knows that.
I've been doing fucking these impressions for years. Nobody gives two shits about it. I bitch every fucking week that no one cares. And then this fucking guy dies. This is good for me. And I'm just breaking balls. I don't know JL, but
it's great.
He's really funny. He does impressions and these sketches of these impressions. What was the one? The Louis C.K. Comedy School?
Yeah, he was doing a comedy college. It was before Louis got beat up. Or
it was
caught.
A joke of a multi-parter of comedy college with different instructors.
Impressions of each instructor.
It was really good stuff
about what they do specifically in comedy. That's great. And it was amazing.
It was funny.
It was so good.
He was really good at everybody.
Now he does a Donald Trump, and he got a bunch of publicity for that.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what he was watching. That's what I mean. I was like, hey, good for you.
That?
So The last.
I wanted
it's
to
a little
know
bug.
that.
I hope he does. I'm sure if he seems like he has a Google alert for his name.
JL, the last
he was like,
thing
shit.
that a man watched before he was murdered was you.
He popped, and I think that's from the Washington Post too. He probably saw a Google alert and he was like, Washington Post mentioned? What the fuck? And he looked up and he's like, where the fuck am I in this? Oh,
Jesus.
Shit. All right, well, it's still a mention.
It's still cool.
Still a mention. So, but no, good for him. I'm not fucking breaking his balls. Like I said, he's a talented dude, and not talking any shit. Comics just like to break comics' balls, even if we don't know them. It's one of those
I really hope
things.
it was Comedy U.
I do really too. It was around that time.
It was great.
So it was right around that time too. So the phone was not used after 2:29 a.m. on Saturday, May 16th. So that he went out on a Friday night. That Saturday morning. Now investigators tell Steph that her mother confessed. Really? By the way, your mother confessed, and she said, "quote Oh my God," and she started sobbing, and she said, "Are you fucking serious? I can't breathe." And but they thought she knew a little more than she was letting on, because she posted about awesome news when he left and all that kind of shit. Eventually, she said, quote, "Okay, that's a bad sign." Uh-oh. That's like when you're on the phone with someone and they go, "All right." So it's one of those.
Yeah.
It's over. "Okay," she says, quote, "Honestly, I didn't know anything until a couple months ago." She says Dave had been digging in the manure pile.
Ugh.
Okay,
Why would he do that?
I never want to live on a ranch.
No.
If one of the jobs is go ahead and dig in the manure pile for a while, I am not doing that.
What if he was so bored that's what he was doing?
Just shoveling shit for fun.
Just out there throwing it.
When he partially uncovered the body of what she said they thought looked like a large animal at the time. That's all it was. He said it was it was partially mummified and wrapped in plastic. You know, like you do with animals that you shoot. Dave said that he had encountered plenty of carcasses while living there, but this one was different. He told Stephanie, "You can see parts of a rib cage poking out."
Oh boy!
So he called Steph over and said, "Is that what we think it is?" Basically, and Steph said, "Maybe. I'm going to go call Mom." So Deb told her daughter to stay away from the body, claiming it was a mountain lion or a bear that Jake had shot. Mm-hmm. And she told her daughter, quote, "It's a legal game. That's all I'm going to say."
Super illegal.
It's very. Never mind the most dangerous game, the most illegal game as well. Hunting people.
You can't have that.
You definitely. That's very illegal.
You don't want on your wall.
A mountain lion, you get a ticket. This is worse. You know, I'm sure with a $50 fine or $1,000, even a fucking $100. I don't know. So she told her daughter to put the manure back on top of it and leave it alone.
That's what Mom did? She just poured shit on it?
Shit on top of it. Just put the shit on top of it.
Wow.
So, and the weeks after that, Steph and Dave would make jokes about it. They'd talk about calling the police, but they never did. This is what Steph's telling the cops.
How many times did they say he's in deep shit?
Oh, he's in deep shit, that Dave. He said then the investigation started ramping up, and Stephanie said once the cops started asking more questions before they actually came out to the ranch with this search team, that they need to rebury this somewhere more secure. So the family avoided what they were discussing. They just called the body it, and sometimes called it the bear.
Wow.
Because Mom said it was a bear.
Yeah.
Eventually, though, she tells the cops, quote, "I knew in my heart it was Jake." Well, no shit you did. Really? One afternoon, Dave used a backhoe to dig a hole inside the corral, and a couple of days later, they put Jake in there, and they put fucking heads on him. I guess that was their idea, to try to throw the dogs off, and then a bunch of shit and dirt and all sorts of stuff on top of that, and they figured, done and done. So, now the cops are looking at this, and according to Deb's medical records, she weighed 87 pounds at the time of the murder. They're like, and also she had recent gallbladder surgery 9 days beforehand.
Yeah, there's no way she did that.
Yeah, so at work, she'd been assigned light duty at the nursing home. Right. And at the ranch, she wasn't able to lift a bale of hay at the time. So it would be difficult.
She's going to lift her son?
That's the thing, and also when the doctor examined her a few days after the murder, when she had gone back to the doctor for a checkup, none of her stitches had been torn either.
Okay.
Jake weighed about 175 pounds, so almost 100 pounds more than her. Right. So it wouldn't have been very possible for her to drag him from the second story of the lodge all the way to the manure pile. I don't care how much physics you know and chemistry or any other stuff.
She's just she's an ant.
That's not good. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So now everybody thinks, all of his friends think that because Deb's dying and she has cancer, that she's covering up for her daughter and all that sort of thing. They said, quote, no matter how bad it was, I just can't see her shooting her own boy, is what her friend, one of his friends said. Cell phone records shows that Steph had been awake in the early morning hours when he was killed. And, quote, Deborah didn't gain anything by killing Jacob, a Colorado Bureau of Investigation person said. Like, why would Debbie kill him?
Right.
He's doing the work, and there's nothing to gain. But Steph, on the other hand, gained sole ownership of the ranch because the will had been changed. But either way, clearly they weren't fucking depending on anybody finding this body, obviously. And they figured that no one would raise too much of a fuss over this guy. He's a quiet guy, keeps to himself, only has a few friends. Not like he has a job out there. He stays at the ranch. Didn't count on these friends being actually so fucking loyal to their friend that they were looking for him, which is amazing. I hope somebody looks for me if I'm missing.
Well, I will.
Thank you.
I have to.
Yeah, that's true.
Financially, I need you.
Fuck, where's James? I'll look for you too.
Ain't gonna pay itself,
God damn it, Jesus Christ. We need to go on the road here. So after the discovery, there's all sorts of different, like we said, confessions and non-confessions, and Deb trying to say that he was a violent drug addict who was with the wrong crowd and all this shit. And Steph tells him that Jake was a worthless waste of space who was lazy and useless. And so
good Lord.
No wonder why he fucking wanted to get away from these people, Jesus Christ.
Oh.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah.
Thanks, sis.
I think my sisters would say the same thing about me, though.
Good Lord. So finally they're all arrested, obviously, charged with different things, though.
Yeah.
Now, Dave Jackson is just charged with like tampering with a body in an aggravated way.
Yeah.
He ends up pleading guilty. He says that, quote, I feel after talking with my family and defense attorneys, given the circumstances, this is the best course of action. Besides, my brother, my father, and my son are the biggest victims. I can't put them through a trial that would be a media circus. And he's saying how his son's, been through enough with this whole thing.
Right. Poor bastard goes by Alan Jackson.
It gets worse for that poor kid. That poor kid got kicked in the head by a horse.
No.
He did, right around this time. He got kicked in the head by a horse and was in really bad shape.
Fuck.
I mean, I saw the picture in the hospital bed and it looked brutal.
Like his head,
super kicked in the fucking head. And I guess he recovered from it. So I don't know if it's a full recovery, but he didn't die and he can do things.
Did he forget his name?
Don't know about that, but it's that kid's. That's a tough life, man.
Jesus.
Both your parents are. We'll talk about it. Both his parents are going.
Yeah.
And then
and there's no way he's getting out of that anyway. It's just it's smart that he. Guilty.
He did. And so he said that this is what Dave said about his son. His safety and well-being are my top priority. And basically they had first charged him with homicide, and then it was based on his criminal liability as an accomplice, but they ended up letting him plead less. And they said, quote, this requires proof that Miss Jackson acted with the specific intent to have Jacob Millison murdered, all this shit. And the prosecutor said these cases are very challenging to prove after years go by and evidence degrades. Right. And but he pleads guilty, and the judge says, you, sir, may indeed fuck off 10 years in prison for Dave.
That's light.
Dave gets 10. Yeah, he gets off a little bit light. Now, May 13th, 2019, Deb is up for murder charges here. She tells the court, based on her physical condition, that basically she doesn't want the last months of her life to be done in court. Yeah. So she's going to plead guilty and get it over with, so she doesn't have to put everybody through shit. So she pleads guilty to second-degree murder, which is hardcore. She's
still murder.
She says, quote, I will admit I did shoot Jake, but I did feel it was self-defense because it was an imminent impending threat from him. It was hanging over me to the point I could not sleep. I took actions into my own hands. I did shoot Jake. Is it right for you guys to punish me? She said basically it's going to be the same time no matter what. I'm dying. I'm sentenced to death either way. So there's that. She also said, my daughter in no way knowingly had anything to do with Jake's death or any cover-up. I deeply regret any harm I have caused here. And she said that she understood why basically she tried to raise self-defense, and the judge wouldn't even let her raise it as a defense because he was sleeping. So there was no possible way it was self-defense.
There's no evidence for that.
So she said that it didn't matter anyway, and she was fine with that. So the prosecutor here in his closing said it's important to remember who the victim is. Those are the people who fought hard for him, fought hard for him to be found for 2 years when Mrs. Rudabaugh left him in a manure pile. You, ma'am, may fuck off. 40 years.
Wow.
40 years. Bang Deb hard.
She ain't even going to do 40 months, though. No, this woman's dead soon.
Deb is, this is 2019. This happened, so we'll talk about it. That was May 2019. Deb is in there. So 40 years. And I mean, fuck, man. You shot your own son?
That's crazy.
We've never had this before. A mother shooting her adult son with a .357?
Right.
That's fucking brutal,
man. That's like for sure erasing it. Like, he's not surviving that.
No, that's what I mean. She said, I got one shot at this. So now Steph goes to court. And after September, as of 2019 in September, basically they're charging her with first-degree murder after deliberation.
Holy shit.
Yeah, they're charging her just as hard as Debbie was originally before she pled. She's also charged with accessory to a crime, tampering with a deceased human body, tampering with a witness or victim, concealing death, tampering with physical evidence, and abuse of a corpse. All sorts of charges that just don't sound good on the resume.
No.
You know what I mean?
That's some death sentence shit.
That's a bad Tinder profile. Well, I've had a little trouble, concealing a death, tampering with physical evidence, abuse of a corpse. But other than that, everything's fine. But here, they wondered what's going to happen. Is she going to go on trial? She's scheduled to go on trial in the fall. And the friends, though, are worried that she's going to end up copping a plea deal and not actually finding out what happened. So, but what ends up happening, November 11th, 2019, Deb dies in jail from cancer.
Oh, no.
So Deb's dead. Then she spent her last few months in jail, which is pretty deserving after she shot her fucking son in the head.
But she had stage 4.
Yeah, she was done. And the treatment when she's going through, not going to be as good. Not as good anyway. They do cancer treatments and shit, but it's not the same as if you were
like 2 shots
on
of
the
Gatorade.
street. Yeah, there you go. Pat you on the ass. Have a good one. So
hydrate up.
Hydrate up. He said hydrate up. So 2 days later is Steph's court date here, and she is allowed to plead guilty at this point. They drop the murder charge. She pleads guilty to tampering with a deceased human body with aggravating circumstances.
Okay.
So they have a big the sentencing guidelines here are pretty wide. Yeah. So sentencing hearing's important here. They had a 2-hour hearing for sentencing, and basically they said that they tried to say that she at the very least influenced her mother to change the will of the ranch, and then influenced her mother to harm him. That's at the very least, if she didn't do it herself. At a minimum. So, the prosecutor admitted that he would have a hard time getting a first-degree murder conviction. He said the challenge for the prosecution is providing the first-degree murder charge is that we did not have direct evidence of communications between Stephanie Jackson and Deborah prior to the murder in which the killing was discussed. That would be premeditation. So he said there was strong circumstantial evidence that showed that, but for Ms. Jackson's head games with her mother, Ms. Rudabaugh would have never murdered Jake, which makes sense. The prosecution had no direct evidence of a statement or communication between them. So at the sentencing hearing, the prosecutor repeatedly used Steph's own words and Facebook posts against her to show that, she was telling her friends around the time of the murder that something big was happening for their family and all that. And the prosecutor said, quote, "That big thing was winning the lottery and getting the will change to inherit the ranch. The greed and malice is patently obvious here. It is a tough case, but the court knows of the aiding and abetting and encouraging of Deborah before the murder. And we know based on compelling facts that Ms. Jackson knew of Jacob's death immediately and said after the killing that now I know what I moved up here to do." That's what they say. So, they reiterate that Jake's body, was in the manure pile and they re-fucking buried it and all that. The prosecutor says, what a moment to see the body, and the reaction is not to call somebody, but to hide it, to not tell anyone and instead rebury it. This is an aggravated case. Ms. Jackson participated in this one way or the other. She involved others and had caused unimaginable injury to her own son. This is an aggravated case, and with how she treated her brother shows a complete failure to respect the dignity of life. Her lawyers read portions of letters that people sent in that urged the judge to be lenient in his sentencing. They described her as a loving and caring mother, a solid neighbor, a good person who, made a mistake and she's okay. One of her attorneys told the court that while she was growing up, there was no physical abuse in the family, but there was loud arguments and screaming matches between her parents. Yeah. So they are Italian. Well, who cares? So what? That's normal.
Right.
What the fuck are you talking about?
She certainly knew, man.
Oh,
and she didn't tell her husband.
No, I think they did it. That's it.
Right.
I think Steph and Dave did it. Period.
I don't think Dave had anything to do with it.
Oh, maybe not.
Dave found the body under the shit and didn't know.
He knew.
You think so?
That was their story. Yeah. That's the story they told the cops. I uncovered. It's like, oh, look, a rib cage.
Right.
Like, your ass.
I don't think Dave knew.
Considering they made Dave do all the physical labor, they didn't take him out and bury him under the shit.
They had to prepare Dave for what he was going to have to do, too.
Steph did not pick up a shovel and scoop shit up at it. And Deb couldn't have at the time.
Right.
So Dave had to have buried him. So
wow.
I think maybe Steph shot him and then said, Dave?
Yeah.
And then made Dave haul his ass outside.
Unbelievable.
So, there's that sort of thing. Now, in Steph's statement, she read a statement. She apologized to her father, who's still alive,
right.
and the family, and, quote, anyone affected by my mother's heinous actions. Jake was blessed to have friends that didn't give up on the search for him. What a fucking ball sack on this woman. Holy shit.
And she's going, those motherfuckers.
I hope one of them hit her with a spitball while she was saying it or something. She said she wasn't involved in the murder, but was guilty of believing the lies my mother told everyone for 2 years. I admit I didn't follow my instincts. I didn't call the police when I should have. When confronted, I panicked and lied to the police. Jake and I didn't have a good relationship, but that didn't mean I wanted harm to come to him. My conduct and messages to friends and on Facebook were insensitive and immature. I acted childish, and I'm truly sorry for that. All I can do is apologize for the actions that brought pain to others. I am dedicated to doing anything I can to make my family heal. And the prosecutor had the last word here, and she said, Stephanie Jackson put a train in motion that put us here today. She said on Facebook she was going to play head games with her family, and she certainly did that. There's a lot of talk about accountability, but there has been zero. And then the judge says that he was particularly struck by the Facebook posts found shortly after the murder. This affected him a lot, and especially when she posted that big things were happening. And he says, quote, this was the most interesting case and one which will probably never know the entire truth. You, ma'am, may fuck off 24 years in prison for her. It's not bad.
She's going to get out, James.
Oh, yeah.
That's fucked up.
Now, the pre-sentence report suggested the sentence should be on the high end at 24 years. They did comment that it's great that she was a good mother and all, but they're troubled by some of her statements and actions and all that sort of thing. And she has credit for 619 days served at that time, too. So 2 years. So, I mean, maybe she'll be out in 10. She's got good whatever.
She's a dick, man.
She's a dick. Now, we'll give one of Jake's friends here the last word because I think they were the real fucking heroes in the whole thing, just finding them. This is the Cathizer person. That's the last name. This guy said, quote, a lot of mornings when I wake up, I think about Jake, what his life would have been. I like to think that he could have sold the ranch for quite a bit of money and maybe just gone and worked a regular job somewhere, bought a house. Maybe he would have met a girl and whatever, and he doesn't get that opportunity. That's what I would have hoped for him. Just that he could have gotten into a life that he wasn't frustrated at every day. Poor Jake. He never got there. And, but Deb is a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Deb's, what a,
She's a bitch.
She's a horrible person.
Yeah.
Anyone who had anything to do with their son's murder is a horrible fucking person.
Bitch.
And I know guess what? There's a double standard. There is. We expect a father maybe to kill,
right,
to
kill
do
everybody
this
in the house.
But this is not. Is that a double standard? Yes. Yes, it is. I'm sorry, but we expect more from someone who the child physically fucking emerged from.
Right.
That you would have some attachment to them and not want to kill them.
Oh man.
Not the fucking obscure sperm donor thing or whatever.
Also, the other part is like she's responsible for any behavior that he has that pisses her off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You did this to him.
That's what I mean. You caused this,
here.
For Christ's sake.
Oh, boy.
So that is Gunnison, Colorado, and poor Jake Millison and his family that will be in jail for a while now, and his mom who's dead.
And poor Alan's got to wander around with a head injury.
Head injury and both parents in prison.
Kid's like 5 years old today.
He can't, I think he's 10 now.
Is he
9 or 10.
Oh,
11 maybe, something like that, but making a recovery from the horse incident. So it's
where did it kick him in the front?
I don't know where in the head. It just said the head.
The head's all swollen.
They blurred out his face in the picture, but you could see he's in the hospital with fucking things attached to him everywhere. I mean, it looked. If it was my kid there, I would not be in good shape. Put it that way. It was rough looking, man. To see anybody like that, I was like, whoa, I don't want to look at that picture for too long.
Tortured enough. He's going to be like that dude in Office Space where they go, you like Michael Bolton? He's got to stare somebody in the face and go, I love Alan Jackson.
Him. Yeah, he's great.
Alan Jackson's
the best. He's the fucking the greatest. I hate Daft Punk. So.
Pharrell can eat death.
Fuck him. So that's Gunnison, Colorado, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that. If you did, I know what you can do to tell us. It's pretty clear and it's pretty obvious. Get on Apple Podcasts, that purple icon, give us 5 stars. It does help. We don't know why, but for some reason it helps drive us up the charts, and that really helps us on the business end. So if you want to do that and help out the show, that's a good way to do it. You can also head over to shutupandgivememurder.com for all of your merchandise, anything you could need for the crime and sports or small town murder fan. It's all right there before you. Tickets to live shows. By the way, we're trying to add another crime and sports live show in there somewhere.
Doing our best.
Yeah, that's a possibility of happening as well, and we're moving all those shows. If you do buy tickets to the live shows, any of them, whenever they do get rescheduled for, if they are moved again, your tickets carry over. So you'll have tickets and do all of that shit. So please get on the site, check all that crap out. Listen to Crime and Sports every Tuesday, because I don't know what you're doing on Tuesdays, but it's nothing as good as Crime and Sports. I'll tell you that shit right now. Listen to Crime and Sports or P.S. I Hate This Movie every Friday, obviously, too, for any of your bad romantic comedy hating needs. So you can do all of that. If you want to be a particular hero, not only a hero, a producer, that Jimmie will mispronounce your name, fuck it all up, and then I'll laugh about it, and then we might even make fun of your name because you were nice enough to give us money. If you want to be one of those people, and not only that, if you want to have access to the just ton of bonus materials, a plethora of stuff that we have there. This week's bonus show is, first of all, our Crime and Sports bonus show this week, which you'll also have access to because you have access to everything, even the back catalog from last year. That was on kind of sports expose books, basically. So
books.
A lot of people have been asking me about that, so I wanted to put that out there. We'll put that out this weekend. We're going to put bonus shows out on the weekends. That's how we're going to do it. So we'll do that. But this week here, it is the the Prisoner Dating Game, All Violent Felon Edition, Part 2.
Absolutely.
So that is this week's one, and those are big. We do about 3-4 of those a year. We'll do, and those are the biggies, man. They're the funniest thing you could fucking want to see, or listen to, I should say. So if you want access to all of that, very easy to do that. Patreon.com/crime and sports, or if you want to just be a wonderful person and a producer and someone who Jimmie talks about, you can go to PayPal and you can use our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com. And right there, you can follow us and do all that and give us cash. And we appreciate everything that you do for us. If you want to just follow us on social media, you can do that too. At Murder Small on Twitter, at SmallTownPod on Facebook, and at Smalltown Murder on Instagram as well. Follow us all through there, but fuck following. You know what I need to follow? I need to follow you to tell me the list of the people, Jimmie, the most wonderful people who would never kill us, dig us up from a manure pile, and then bury us under a pile of goat heads. Hit me now, Jimmie.
This week's executive producers are Christopher Dobronsky, Sarah Surridge, Jackie Sukup, Karen Lewis, Zachary Villanova, Anna Nanashi, Chrissy Zivenhoven, Chrissy Ann Castaldi, Lori Peitz, Ava Green, Alicia Belcher, Marie Kirkland, Rob Lanto, Doug and Steph Urban, Cheryl Shine, Erica Silberstein, Laurel Paquin, Ain, I think, Jill Knapp, Mark Peralta, Christian Wall, Mallory Crow, Daniel Barbier. Barbier.
Sure.
Penny Payne, she's a tattoo artist in Saskatoon. Go see her. Megan Silvers, Sammy Messerly, Jacob Dockery, Amy Heiler, Andrea Stone, Allison Ramos. Happy 6th shithead. I don't know.
Okay, cool.
She didn't give his name.
Well, you know what? Happy.
And Jordan Bennett. Thank you guys so much for everything you do. We can't do it without you. Other producers this week are Jules Harris. Her daughter, Uga, is turning 3, so happy birthday. Jack Britton, Jonathan Parker, and their crew over at Artisan Cannabis CAP department. They all listen every week.
Awesome.
Alex with no last name, Kit Gaston, Rob Gibson, Lindsey Greer, Kayvon Bierman, Matt Hughes, Layla Bungard, David Bangler, Brian Fisher, Warren with no last name, Josh Larson, Morgan Grant, Graham Wilson, Clayton Lovelady, Jerome Henry, Scott Stevens, Ash B, Ramel Santos, Tessa Andrachik, I think. Probably not. Brandon Day, Jeff Chaos, Callie Weenham, Kate L. No, it's Kate's birthday. Happy birthday, Caitlin. She's up in Nova Scotia.
Oh, okay.
Jenny Bukowski, Andrea Stone said that. Tori with no last name. Casey Weatherly, Amber Laverick, Lisa Cohn, Alan Fewer, Laura Steele, Josh Guido. That one's so much fun to say. Harrison Lee, Ian C, Ava M, Ashley Elliott, Emily Marie, Anthony Shiani, Elizabeth Davey, Giovanni Brazel, Kyle Ruest, Ralph Snart, I think it's Snart, Jism, no, that can't be right, Jizem, Yali Pepper, I apologize. Jesse Lawson, Courtney Cheney, Isabel and Gary Pickren, Chris Cleveland, Brent Kreider, Kristen Richards, Kristen Kilgore, Jennifer Nance, Eric Thompson, Luke Bayless, Joe Bellahem, and he donated so many different. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Ray Sanders, Roxanne Peterson, Katie Pugh. You guys are hot. I don't know if that's 2 people. What did I? Taishara Jones, I think. I'm sorry. Benjamin Weisner, Preston Shutt, David Stuck, Michael Gruner, Bryce Bronecki, Daniel Kleeman, Morgan Schwartz, Jennings Shore, what did I say? Sokler McCoy? That's not right. Tay Schofield, Jack Ochio Grosso? Probably not. Mike Thomas, G. Jones, Lacey Paxton, Nicole Evans, Ariel Ortiz, Lisa Gibson, Sydney Vittori, obviously.
Hey.
Stacy Gillen, Misty Everett, Leilani Mara, Pedro Gonzalez, Janelle Boyd, Christy and Matt Bodko, I think. Probably not. Connie Smith, Tristan Reyes, Nathaniel Russell, Beth Casto, Stephanie Paul, Stephen with no last name, Ashley Hamilton, Bradley Dooley, Megan Steinberg, Donna Burnett, Sarah I'm Tall. It's not a last name. Stephen Cloutier, Ariel Teague, K.S., Sherry Brickbill. Probably not. Chris Ringland, Angela Catrix, Shay, is that Shay? Oh, it's Thea S. Vicky Morley, Vincent with no last name, Dustin Van Dyke, obviously, what is it?
Dick and Jerry's.
Obviously.
Relative.
Emily with no last name, Stacy Manley, Aaron Presley, Verena Hutter, Erica with no last name, Tia Hall, Lisa Smith, Marcy Desotelle, no. Ashton Trammell, Katie Somerville, Kimberly Sharp, Wayne Davis, John Vaught, Shane Sullivan, June Johnson, Lucille 87, Jason Wright, Haley with no last name, Lexi Posh, Alyssa in Chains, well done, Jennifer Silva, Hogan's Heathens, whoever they are, David Aller, Kate LaRue, Charisse, I think, Epps, Chris Reisenbeck, Jen Hardman, Alabama Sassafras.
Nice.
Jim E. Can't read. You fucker. Stefan with no last name. Ruby Schaefer. Kristen Payne. Danielle Moorish. Christy with no last name. Ed Soderstrom. Court of Public Opinion podcast. April Carrillo. Ann Nico. Gary with no last name. Michelle Hansen. Karina Lutmers. Maddox McCullough. Crystal Rolfe. Michelle Duncan. Derek Harding. Tasha Harmon. Sal with no last name. Sandy Ebsen. Adam Chichi. Sam Hartrup, James Dweech, Terry Collier, Aiden Smith, Teresa Schnell, Stevie Hinkle, Andrew Combus? Probably not. Annie Franken, Ivana Torres, Monica Rodriguez, Denise Poorboy, Cam Smith, Scott Solos, Carly McGillivray. Probably. Joey Image, he's a wrestler, and he sends me messages about our wrestling episodes and adores you. So thank you, Joey.
Well, thank you.
He's going to bring, he has to bring Sonny to one of our shows.
Which, great.
If you show up with her, Joey, I'll cry ugly tears. Johnny Crable, Steve Strickland, I said that. Snuggle Love, Rose Wiener Spoford. No. Judy Jennings, Beth Burke, Matthew Quick, Milva 12, Dante Davali, J.B. Wallace. Oh, it's J.J. Wallace. What an email. Thank you very much, JJ. Hang in there, man. Seriously, keep going. Rem Dem, Ashley Rowland, Elizabeth Zarkos, Robert Magruder, Josh Johnson, Mariah Jensen, James with no last name, Will with no last name, Joanna Gillis, Callie Baldridge, Melissa Tulini, Daniel Griffin, Romina Ganiro. I don't know if that's an RRK. Thomas Slater, Norib with no last name, Clayton Treble, Danielle Rogers, Wade Blaine, Sarah with no last name, Ann with no last name, Tyler Card, Jody with no last name, Owen Paratis, I think, Jordan Harbin, Trish Murley, what does this say? Making COVID. Oh, she makes COVID masks.
Oh, cool.
Thank you, Trish. Hang in there. Keep going. Keep making those. Andrew Welmers, Christina Horton Morris, Eder Zamoa, Stacy Holtz, Penny Carver, Eddie Sanchez, Anus. No, it's not. What? Anuj Jamiri?
Bong Bong, another man Anus.
Gamiri. Thank you. Kendra Helm. I don't think it says anus. I think that's a J.
Oh, okay.
It might be an S. Alex Gannetti, Dylan Ide, Jesse Pitts, Sean Stevens, Quincy Moe, Liz Nelson, Jules Harris, Dominique Basoma. She lost a stray. Sorry, Dominique. Hang in there. Amanda Yates Garcia, Sharon Jernigan, Sarah Bell Wumers, Naomi McCarthy, Stephen Rude, thanks Stephen, Dana Riley, Stephen Whitmore, Jake Metter, Gino Golan, Jack Hicks, Larry Blunk, Karen with no last name, James Hooper, Jenny Shader, HJC, Molly McCarthy, Peyton Meadows, Mackenzie Asprey, that's Ree Rendell, SoundCloud Bliss, Dion Horn, James Martyr, Home Stretch, Charlotte Hill, Amanda Dixon, Milagros Gonzalez, that is the whitest that's ever been said, Dr. Steve Schnell, congratulations, brother. He finished his PhD program and passed his test. Way to go, buddy. Natalie Howe, Tracy Renninger, Jude Kendall, Tara Gilchrist, Stacey Ray Boardman, Margaret Lubert, Janice Hill, Ashley Vio, Holly Davidson, Stephen Tucker, Amanda Knight, Autumn Kia, Brendan Abel, Stephen Mace, happy birthday, Big Dick Boo from Gigi. Weird. Kira Donahue is the Empress of Heirlooms.
Oh.
And all of our patron supporters, you guys really change lives. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys, so much for everything you do, for supporting the show, for every person you tell about the show, for every dime you give us, every review you give us. Every ticket you buy, T-shirt. Thank you guys so much for supporting us and being there for us all the time. You guys are there for us like Jake's friends are there for him. That's how we feel.
It's really amazing how, I mean, the world is seriously on fire, and you guys
are still amazing.
Kept us afloat, and I can't thank you enough.
I feel like if we went missing, they would look for us.
Yeah, they'd put
together
tweets.
They'd put together. Are you kidding me? Like Jordan Bennett and TJ Mack and our, Liz, our people. Gary Howard would be driving around in his truck everywhere. Jason Fuller would be on the East Coast with his truck. All of our people. Fucking Andrew Bailey'd be searching Australia, and Mark Busby behind him looking for shit. Fucking Maj be over in fucking England checking us out.
I think Bailey's in England also.
I thought Bailey was he's in Australia, man.
Is he?
I think so. Andrew Bailey's in Australia. I think he's from England, but he's in Australia.
Maybe so.
Possibly.
That might be true.
I hope so. I love that dude.
Yeah.
Anyway, but these are our people. They'd be out on the hunt for us, man. So thank you guys for that.
It's really fucking amazing.
Thank you for hunting for us. We appreciate it. What if they wanted to hunt for you just on social media? How could they do that?
So easy. You don't have to hunt very far at all. At Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks on Twitter and Instagram.
Beautiful.
And then somebody sent me a message telling me that it's her and her boyfriend's anniversary. They tried to see us in Louisville. They saw the show. CJ, I think his name is. And they saw the show, but then they didn't hang around after. I don't know. So they wanted to say hello. He loves us.
Howdy.
It's his birthday or their anniversary.
Happy anniversary. anniversary day.
Anyway.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you both very much for listening. Where can they find you?
You can find me at Jimmie P is funny. We're just copy and paste my name and make it easy on yourself because no one can spell James Pietragallo. So with that said, everybody, thank you for hanging with us. Enjoy the bonus stuff this week. Enjoy everything. And we're definitely going to keep coming back. And until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
Have you ever gotten a message out of the blue? Maybe you ignore them. Or maybe you end up in conversation. Maybe they tell you about an amazing offer.
I can really show you how to make some money.
And maybe that gets you into a lot of trouble. But this isn't a story about people like you, the people receiving these messages. This is a story about the people behind the messages, on the other end of the line. Thousands of them, working in a micro-city built for scammers. From Wondery, the makers of Dr. Death and Kill List, comes Scam Factory, a new series about survival at the expense of others. Follow Scam Factory on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Scam Factory early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.